Kid. Guys, we are back in here for that live show. That's live show Krakini. That live show Krakini. I don't know what Ricardo is looking at. Let's just hope that it ain't triple X or so forth.
No. I fact checked what I said earlier.
Okay. Save it. Save it for the segment. But look, so guys, look, man, we're just here, just a bit of house cleaning, a few news stories. So we'll tell you what it is, because that's actually a few topics for us to get through. So we're going to talk about Messi and the unveiling of the Conmebol statue that stands next to Maradona and Pele, and we're just talking about this whole, just reflecting on what Messi has finally achieved and just his recognition in South America and how he's now allowed now VIP room with a Pele and a Maradona. Then we're now going to talk about 122 goals. Cristiano Ronaldo getting 122 goals. And we'll just have a discussion about it, So,
my goal.
So Ricardo, you better be careful, man, because these founding boys are dangerous. So be careful with your words. So we're going to have a balanced discussion about the 122 goals, and we're going to try and be as objective and fair as possible. And if push comes to shove, I shall be defending Cristiano while Ricardo will be trying to attack him. So if push comes to shove, I'll be. Then we'll talk about Nagelsmann, reflecting on Tuchel taking over at Bayern, whether that's a good move and so forth. Maybe a little look ahead to the Dortmund game on the weekend. And also, Nagelsmann, where should he go? And would a Nagelsmann to Chelsea be something? Because Chelsea are rumored to be circling around the idea of Nagelsmann in case that Quidditch bomb doesn't say what's up. We may touch on Ozil. I wanna have another reflection on Ozil and the role he played and just his impact on football, specifically his role. And then I want to talk about Arsenal and Man City, where we are back in it. It's City against Liverpool on Saturday. And what do we think? Because let's be real. Bundesliga, we know who's winning that. Uber Eats, we know who's winning that. And we know who's winning Serie, and we know who's winning La Liga. Those are already sorted out. So for Arsenal and City, another reflection, looking at their last few, because this is now the final run, their last few fixtures, and see what's going to be popping. So guys, like that vid, subscribe if you're new, get your meal, get your drink. I'm drinking Perrier. What's the Perrier? Cut the check. Perrier, cut that damn check. Perrier, cut that damn check. I'm drinking my Perrier water, and sit back and let us entertain you. We may be getting a few more guys in here, but we're going to kick off the show. So let's first start it. So Ricardo, let me tell this, because you're old school. I believe even if you're new school, you're a bit old school.
I'm an eye test guy.
You're an eye test guy. So can you now see why it was important for Messi to win the World Cup? Because something struck me. So, whenever I look at news, I just look at Twitter and so forth. And I don't know who it was. Someone sends me something in the DM, and I think there's like a Conmebol museum. And the Conmebol museum, you see Pele holding the old World Cup trophy from 1950.
No, I think 70.
From 1970, okay, because he looks older. So from 1970, then you have Maradona holding the World Cup from 86, and then next day you now have Messi holding that World Cup, of course, from 2022. And when you just saw that, you're like, you can now see why this is so important, because For so long, people said that he didn't need to win the World Cup. Like he's already as great as Maradona and Pele without the World Cup, based on everything he's done. I said, no, no, no. You have to get it done. You've got to win the World Cup. And I think Pele was the first guy who pretty much popularized the World Cup and made it so important and made it this global thing that people after the football said, no, no, we have to win that. And once you see him winning the World Cup, how him and Argentina had to go through winning the World Cup and the way things that had to happen. And also, Ricardo, that stat is so freaking crazy. The whole thing of 2-0 up, then 2-2, then 3-2, as everything. It's freaking crazy. Yeah. But when you just see, it's like you now see why it is so significant. And I do feel that Messi is now realizing when you look at the homecoming game against Panama, when you look at now that statue next to Maradona and next to Pele, and just how that, because again, if let's just put a Messi statue there, he's holding up a UCL or a Ballon d'Or, it won't hit the same. It won't hit the same. But him holding that World Cup next to his compatriots, holding a World Cup next to the Don himself, Pele, holding that World Cup, it's the circle is complete. It all makes sense. All the dots connect. So Ricardo, like, can you now see why he had to win the World Cup? That's without him winning the World Cup, it just wouldn't hit the same. His career.
You know, I definitely do agree, because when you look at the talent that Messi is, there's no way you see a player that good and not have a World Cup in his credentials. It's unfathomable. Like Maradona did it, Pele did it, R9 did it, Ronaldinho did it. Like really just all the greatest players of all time, majority at least, I'd say, have done it. Zidane has done it.
I mean, the only one that comes to my head is Cruyff.
Cruyff is probably the one name that definitely did miss out. But for Messi, look, this Hazard. Is what there's if there's one thing that I've always believed as a football fan, and like obviously I'm a Messi guy, right? I would say his career would have been a massive disappointment if he had never won the World Cup. No matter how much I support the guy, it would have been a massive disappointment.
I wouldn't say massive. No, for me, if he never won anything with Argentina, I would say that's a massive disappointment. I think if, let's say, he won the Copa America World Cup, I'd just say disappointing. Because based on just how good you are and how you've defined a generation, that World Cup is what just, it's just is the ball there. So I think a massive disappointment would be crazy. But him like not winning the World Cup, you're like, okay, good, you have the talent and so forth. But that is the trophy. That is the trophy that means everything. That is footballing's trophy. It's footballing's prize.
Yeah, and the one thing, like I'll always say this, and it always bothered me, even as a football fan, and whether you indulge in the Messi Ronaldo debate, there's one thing that both sets of fanboys have always done, and it's always gatekeep Messi and Ronaldo about their success in the World Cup. Because if we're gonna be honest, if you look at all of Ronaldo's World Cups, he hasn't been great in any of them. If you look at all of Messi's World Cups, he's only really been great, I'd say 1.5, because I think the 2014 one, he was good, but that's it. He wasn't great. Yeah. He wasn't great. Like he was good. And then this one, this is an all-timer performance. This is one of the best performances from top to bottom, from start to finish. Messi. So you're really talking about the two greatest players in 10 World Cup tries. Only one campaign from both players was genuinely very, very good. So that speaks a lot to the difficulty of the World Cup. And not only, it's not even like necessarily just about their ability, because nobody denies their ability. It's the mental aspect of the game. And I think all the fragilities that we've always said about Messi may have had, this tournament kind of puts all that to bed. Like you can't call Messi a choke. You can't call Messi whatever you want to call him, because he quite literally performed in every single stage of the World Cup. And that's pretty a unique feat that not many players have done. But going back to what I said before,
because I think that's why I said, like, my thing is, look, we can compare performances. I think I still feel what is considered the greatest performance by an individual at a World Cup is still Maradona 86.
Yeah, for sure.
That still is. But my thing though is, for me, I never received what Messi did in 2014. Like I was like, in the groups, he was amazing. Knockout stage, but I think in this was where, like, when the team needed you, you were there. And in the knockout stages, okay, Messi, we need you just to do something, make something happen, and he was there. So
Yeah,
that was the what was
and I
key.
think for like it's going back to both of them gatekeeping the World Cup. I think this was just the coping mechanism that both sets of fanboys had that they couldn't perform at the highest of level. We always say that Champions League is the highest level, which on a technical aspect, I would agree that it is the highest level. But
Mm.
when you're talking about the highest, when you add the element of pressure of mental fortitude, the World Cup is unrivaled.
No, no,
Uh,
oh, sorry. I mean, do you know what the best way to explain it? This way to explain it between the World Cup and the Champions League. Champions League is hard, but remember, the players you're playing with, you you probably know them better than your family. So these are guys that
mhm.
you're training with every single day. The thing about the World Cup is okay, you're not seeing the very best of the best and so forth with teams who train so much, but because you don't know these players so well, and all you can rely on is the cultural understanding you have
Yeah,
of the game,
yeah.
it is a lot harder because I don't know. All I know about this place is that okay, we have an Argentinian way of viewing, we have a Brazilian way of viewing this, we have a German way of viewing this, and also there is a smaller margin of error because it's every 4 years.
Oh,
It's like
you
as I did see the Mbappe in halftime
Oh, the
speech
house! I did see it. Yeah, it was
where
great.
he said, "Look, guys, this is once every 4 years. If there's any time to bust your balls, it's now because who knows whether you guys will be back in because 4 years is a long damn time, so you
Yeah,
cannot mess up this
no,
opportunity." So
for sure. But it's like going back to what I was saying. It's we back to the gatekeeping. Like it, you can't what Messi winning the World Cup. Forget about what it means for him, what it means to the sport of football, because when there's one day there's going to be another player who are as good as Messi or probably if not better, because we always said this about Pele, we said this about Maradona. There's always going to be somebody. It's just a matter of time to be the greatest player or the best player the world has ever seen. All Messi winning the World Cup, all it does is just gives more credence to the argument that if you want to be the best player in the history of the sport, winning the World Cup is an absolute must. That's like, and I'm sorry that might hurt some Cristiano
non-negotiable.
Ronaldo
It
fans
is non-negotiable.
because
Non-negotiable.
I've even said it myself as a Messi fan. Had Messi not won the World Cup, I personally feel, viewing his entire career, I can't undeniably call him the greatest. If he could be one of, sure, but eventually, when it comes to the World Cup, nobody that good can you can't. Messi being that good of a player, it's hard to fathom that he's never been good at a World Cup. And the one thing why the World Cup is so significant, and I actually read this, and it's actually pretty incredible. Ever since Messi won the World Cup, I have never seen so many people disrespect the World Cup and what it is, right? Now, obviously, because Messi won it, but whatever, they can live in their delusion to grasp how hard winning the World Cup is. And I actually saw this. Yes, it is a 7 game tournament,
Mm.
but we're not going to deduce it just down to 7 game tournament. And the reason why is because in the World Cup, you're only afforded one game. You're only afforded one loss in the whole tournament, and that loss has to come in the group stage because you need a minimum of a win and a tie to go through to the next round in the knockout rounds. Now, once you get to the knockout rounds, you cannot afford to lose. So that means out of the 7 games, you can only lose one game, and that one game you lose has to come within the first 3 games. After that, you cannot lose. In the Champions League, you could quite literally, out of the 13 games, you could lose 6 times and still go on to win the Champions,
Yeah, yeah.
lose 3 games in the qualifiers or the group stage, and then win the last 3 because you can go through on 9 points. You can lose the first leg of the round of 16, of the quarterfinals, and the semifinals, and you can still win the Champions League. There is no debate which tournament is significantly harder to win. The fact that you can't even afford more than one loss makes the World Cup unrivaled.
Oh, no, I mean, even as well. Like again, it's also the low margin of error. If you mess up, it isn't all right. Better luck next year, like the NBA Finals or like the Super Bowl or like the Champions League. If you mess up, 4 years. 4 years is a damn long time in football because you don't know whether you're going to have a massive injury, whether you're going to decline, or what's going to happen to you, and so forth. And I think that what was so severe, I think what has helped Messi so much is his consistency. Because I remember something you said. I remember I forgot when it was, and you said like not many guys have a second chance when
Yeah.
you mess up a World Cup final. Because bro, I remember how I felt in '98 because Ronaldo was like my hero, and I was like, oh my god, is he going to have a second chance? because I was like, I looked at what happened, the way it happened, and then I saw his injury. I was like, oh, it's done. So the Ronaldo story would always be, man, what could have been? This phenomenal player who changed how strikers played. What could have been? And what he did in Osu was so incredible because so he said
Yeah,
his
yeah.
his near exploded, and it was.
I
And basically, say Osu was all about willpower. He was nowhere near his best physically. Nowhere
oh,
near.
for
What
sure.
he did in Otu was all about willpower.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, how can I say? It's like I definitely do agree that some players don't never get a second chance, and for Messi, this was like it almost felt like it was destiny, like for the
Mm.
stars to align for him. Like I'll be honest with you, I genuinely did not believe Argentina was ever going to win the World Cup. Even when they got to the final, I thought they were going to lose to France. But there's like some people in the comments are saying,
No. See, here's my thing. When Croatia beats Brazil, I was like, there's a genuine chance because when they see if they face Brazil, okay, it's a toss up. I just felt that when Croatia beats Brazil, and I saw how much weaker France were, I was
no,
like,
well,
if they make the final, anything could happen.
for
But I
sure,
think most likely they'll
but
win. But so it was
France.
Brazil losing to Croatia.
But France, yeah, I mean, you could argue that. Yeah, I will agree. But like some people have said, there's certain players who deserve exceptions when it comes to the World Cup, and there's genuinely is some players like because that's sometimes dependent on the country you are born in. So, for example, like some people like to say, Cruyff had an all-time performance, so you can excuse him a bit. I don't know how much I can excuse him because the fact that Netherlands has been to the finals 3 times and have yet to win, you can't really say they aren't a country with history.
Mm.
For example, Portugal. Eusebio went to the semifinals, I believe.
Yeah,
Quarterfinals.
66.
Was it in
Quarterfinal.
quarterfinals?
So
They
I
finished
thought
third place before.
it was the semis in
I
66.
think it was semis because they
Okay.
finished third place before. Um, and then they've had generations of great players. Now, I'm not saying you need to win the World Cup to have history in the World Cup. You can have a top finish. Look at Croatia. Croatia has like second and third place, and this country was made in the 90s.
Yeah.
So they have history in the World Cup. Now, players like Modric, players like Zico, for example, although he played for Brazil, so it's a bit different. Players like Johan Cruyff. There's some players, in my view, that I genuinely just ask to have a World Cup where it will remember you for being one of the best players, much like Forlan did in
There we go.
2010,
I was just about to
right?
say something. Yeah.
So I don't expect you to win because I can understand that maybe you come from a country that isn't a World Cup like heavyweight or doesn't come from a team that tends to produce great players. But if you're an all-time great player, and a lot of Ronaldo fans are going to take this as a slight, but
Let's
I
do it.
find it hard to believe that we have said that he's one of the greatest big game players, whatever big game means, which he is. I'm not denying that he isn't. He is one of those guys. He is one of the greatest goal scorers, if not the greatest goal scorer the sport has ever seen. But the fact that he's not been able to perform for Portugal in 5, mind you, there's only been like 4 players that's ever played 5 World Cups.
Mm.
I think it kind of like, I wouldn't say that you can't ignore that is what I'm saying. And he should have done more, in my opinion. But ultimately, it is what it is. It like I said, it's the biggest tournament, most pressure, and it all comes down to every 4 years. And if you can't show up, you can't show up.
You see, I'm gonna because it's a bit of a segue, but I don't want to really segue soon because I want to come back to something you said some time ago, Ricardo, which is linked into the whole Conmebol thing. But Mike, talk to me basically. So Conmebol basically released like a statue in the Conmebol museum. So you have Pele with his World Cup from 70, Maradona with his World Cup in 86, and Messi with his World Cup now. Can you now see why it was so significant for Messi to win the World Cup? Or do you feel that even if he didn't win the World Cup, he'd still be able to be regarded as one of the greats and stand next to Pele and Maradona? Or can you see why he had to win the World Cup for him to be able to be in that same conversation as Maradona and Pele?
To me, watching Messi since 2006, I mean, he had to win a World Cup. And I think when you come from Argentina, there's expectations. And that expectation is built from Maradona and what he did in 86. So if you're Messi, you have to raise your level and perform at the national team because they don't care about Barcelona. They don't care what you do at Barcelona. That's for people who support Barcelona. They care what you do for the Argentina national team. And what he was doing for Argentina national team was losing to Chile twice in a final, not doing anything in 2010 in the quarterfinal against Germany. 2014, he had his moments in the group stage. I don't think in the knockout stage he was the best that we saw. You know, like Di Maria scored the winner against Switzerland. Higuain scored the winner in the quarterfinal against Belgium. So I think for Messi, this World Cup, it felt almost like the last dance, like Michael Jordan. It really felt like that. There's going to be a Netflix documentary in 10 years' time just discussing about how much effort Messi put in. You can just tell he used every ounce of his body to give that one last effort because he knew this was it. This was it.
No, this was it. Like you're not coming back to America in 2026.
No, you're not. And he knew with this team, especially, I think you have to give a lot of praise to Scaloni. We can talk about the players like Enzo Fernandez stepping up, Julian Alvarez, these sort of guys, but I think the work that Scaloni did, because Messi hasn't had great managers. I mean, Jorge Sampaoli is a tattooed bulldog. That's what he is. He just shouts a bunch of stuff on the sideline. Never rated the manager. He's had Maradona, great player, horrific manager. Horrific manager. I mean, 2010, I don't know what tactically he was doing.
Like, I love Maradona and so forth.
No, but
I will never forgive him for picking Higuain over a striker who was
Diego Milito,
a treble.
Yeah. I mean, but he had a great moment as manager. Remember when he did the belly flop against Peru in 2010 qualifiers? Ricardo remembers that in the rain. That
was bloody amazing, bro. That
was bloody amazing.
I think because it could also have Maradona was different because he was basically wearing this flag. It wasn't an Argentine flag. It was like a red flag. And I think he was basically bringing spirituality. I told you, that 2010 it was all vibes. Do you know what's so crazy? Because he's normally in a tracksuit. But I think his daughter said that, no, you have to look proper. So they forced him to wear a suit in the World Cup and everything.
No, because they had to win those last two games to qualify for the 2010 World Cup.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Martin Palermo,
Yeah, Martin Palermo. So they had to win this World Cup, in my opinion. And I was actually quite on board. I was like, you know what? I've seen good performances. I think winning that Copa America, if they didn't win that Copa America, I don't think they would have won this World Cup.
Yeah,
I think that winning the Copa America really gave them that sort of edge and that belief and that, you know what, we can actually do this. It doesn't have to be just Messi. We got big game player like Di Maria. We got Rodrigo de Paul. We got Romero. We got these guys. But I think now Messi winning the World Cup, he was one of the greats. To me, now he's the greatest because when you have all the Champions Leagues, Ballon d'Ors, okay, I don't really care about Ballon d'Ors, but winning the Champions League and now finally winning the World Cup, and he didn't just ghost. He scored in the group stage, scored in the round of 16, scored in the quarterfinals, scored in the semifinals, scored in the final. HH said, give me a knockout stage goal. He said, okay, hold this. Here's a round of 16 quarterfinal, semifinal, final.
He also man of the match all 4 games of the
Wait, hold on. Those man of the matches, that's all subjective. No. What is objective is scoring in knockout games. Then that's objective. And
then he sat down Givardio for that assist to Julian Alvarez in the semifinals. I mean, Messi really, he just turned back the clock and said, I'm putting in the greatest performance I possibly can to finally bring. And you just saw how the streets of Buenos Aires was ridiculous when they won the World Cup.
But Mike, here's the thing though. But he should have scored the winning goal though. Like R9.
It was penalty shootout. What do you want? And then they just completely collapsed.
I'm just like, my guy scored both goals in the final. So my guy did not let us go to penalties. That's why I said, look, it's perfect, but Mbappe.
But
just
then
said,
HH.
Mbappe said, check me.
But HH, your guy as well, Maradona, did he score in the 86 final?
Can I respond? No. Can I respond?
No, but it's a yes or no question.
Who gave the beautiful pass to Bruno Chaga? That pass was bloody amazing. Did you see?
It was a good pass.
It was a good pass.
Come on. No.
And we have to take this into account as well, HH. Conmebol, I will always say this, is the most difficult qualifiers to go through. And how many goals has he scored in an international career?
No, Mike. Hold that.
Okay.
That's going to be needed for the next topic. And now, this is what I want to say. So, Ricardo, you made a point here. So this could be like a little bit of a segue, but I'll try and match it through. So, Ricardo, you said that Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest European player ever. Well, Mike, do you agree with that? That Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest European player?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
When did I say that?
It's literally in the intro to the Hangout.
You did say that.
Shit. I was being nice.
No, but you say, if you take everything into consideration, he's truly the greatest European player of all time.
Sure.
So my thing is this. So let's say like we are like, what's the game? It's like, I don't know whether it's like, we're playing like Pokemon. Let's say we're playing Pokemon. And one guy is like a Pokemon Master of South America, and a Pokemon Master of Europe. And we have to do like a final battle. So if I'm the South American Pokemon Master, any of my 3 monsters has a World Cup. So I can say, okay, I'm going to put this guy. So if, let's say, you want to choose your best European, so your best European doesn't have a World Cup. So what are we saying? So if you're saying that the greatest European player doesn't have a World Cup, but the 3 greats Conmebol, take a pick, they all have a World Cup. What are we saying about Europe? So are we still confident in saying that Cristiano Ronaldo should represent Europe as Europe's finest?
I mean,
because if I say Zidane, people now attack me.
I don't think that's a crazy take though. If you think that, because one of my brother-in-law, he loves Zidane, and
Zidane is the guy.
He thinks he's the best he's ever seen, which is fine. It's if you think Zidane's the best, I have no problem. He's an incredible player, but I think I'm not gonna lie. I think the fact that when you live in a generation where you and this other guy go toe to toe, year in, year out, and then one thing that was always eluding both of you was the World Cup, and the other guy wins the World Cup and you don't. I think it kind of just hurt your standing a little bit, because there's no way you can. It's like I said, Messi winning the World Cup, like it just gives more credit to the argument that you need the World Cup to be amongst the greatest, and especially in Europe when you have Franz Beckenbauer, you have Zinedine Zidane. I mean, that's really mainly the two. I mean, you could argue right under that is like Iniesta, but I mean, I wouldn't really.
No. I mean, you can't say that. So, but see, my thing though is that's just like, are we still saying? Because I saw Mike sort of twist his face. Are we still saying Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest European player? Because there is no harm in saying that. Because when you look at the guy's accolades, what he's done in his club careers and so forth, you can say. But my thing though is, if I now say Europe, let me help you guys out. Pick Zidane as your Mewtwo or as your Pikachu, because Zidane, we know what he did for Real Madrid. We know what he did in a UCL final. We know what he's done at the World Cup. We know what he did in the 90s. We know what he did in 06. So I think Zidane is a better representation of Europe based on just how good he was, what he did in the club game and what he did in the international game.
Yeah, but you can't deny, am I crazy? But you can't. If Ronaldo didn't win a Euros, you might have an argument. But he won a Euros.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I know he didn't play in the final, but I think
don't let me talk about that. Euros.
But Ronaldo's aura won them that final. Let's be honest here. What the heck was that? That was the bottle. Ronaldo's aura won them that final because he was going madness. He wasn't. Fernando Santos wasn't managing that final. It was Cristiano Ronaldo.
Hold on, Mike,
I genuinely do believe.
Are you saying that there's a Cristiano Ronaldo tax of how he did in that final? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
So I mean, look at him on the sideline. Do you think Fernando Santos was actually giving tactical ideas?
That was passion.
Because
that was passion.
You know what he did in his first. It was passion, exactly. We like those passion merchants in football, but I think you would have an argument if Ronaldo didn't win a Euros, but he showed up in that semi-final against Wales. I know he didn't show up in the quarterfinal against Poland, and obviously he didn't play in the final, but I think Ronaldo still has a lot of credibility in the bank. And I know he hasn't scored a knockout stage goal in the World Cup, but 2010, they were up against Spain, 1-0. I think was it Puyol who got the winning goal in that game?
Villa.
Or was it Villa? Oh, no, it was Villa, sorry.
You mean against Portugal in 2010 World Cup?
Yeah, 2010 World Cup.
Yeah, Villa. Puyol was against Germany.
Yeah, it was Villa. And then 2014, okay, that was just horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, Paulo Bento was a terrible manager anyway, and they lost the first game 4-0 to Germany. I knew they were done by then. 2018, okay, Uruguay. So,
nah, let's stop it.
2018, they should have won that.
Yeah, that's off the back of winning the Euros. They had experience winning a trophy.
Exactly. They had some momentum going into that World Cup, but yeah, I just don't know. With Ronaldo, when it comes to World Cups, sometimes I feel like it's just the team around him as well. I'm not trying to give any excuses, but honestly, I just feel like with the team around him and the managers he's had, it's kind of similar to Messi. Like, we gave Messi excuses in occasions like final 2015. You had managers like Maradona. You can kind of give the same excuse for Ronaldo on occasions, but not scoring a knockout stage goal. That's on him.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, let me hear some Dubinsky's, man. So, it's fair. Only 3 players have the claim for the greatest, in my opinion, based on all-around achievements and how good they were. Messi, Zidane, Beckenbauer. Okay, I mean, because I think he's putting in achievements in there as well.
Pele should be there.
Pele has, because Pele, again, guys, you have to look at context. you have to look at what the club game was like in the 60s, which isn't what it was like in the 90s and 2000s. When you look at what he did in the club game, how good Santos were in the 60s and what they did in the World Cup, Pele has to be there for sure. For sure. Maradona, okay, I get it. Achievements, so I get it. Okay, cool. But even though that's, oh God. So basically, that's now playing narrative dies in a few months, like in a month or so. My Maradona now play narrative. Shout out to Osimhen, who can't score against Guinea-Bissau, but is top scorer in Serie.
We need to talk. We need to talk about that.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Mike, no, we don't.
Don't worry, I'm gonna bring it up in the next topic when I have an argument.
Messi fanboys went from saying he doesn't need the World Cup to make him the GOAT to now saying he's the GOAT because of the World Cup. That's how fanboys work. The same people who said that, oh, it's just a 7-game Bombers tournament are now attacking and cyberbullying me online by saying, yo, make him the GOAT because he has the World Cup. I'm like, guys, Messi fanboys, leave me alone. Let me live, man. Let me live. Ballon d'Or debate was hyped because of lack of a World Cup. Yes. Growing up, Ballon d'Or did not mean anything. Okay, cool. All that meant anything was winning that World Cup without UCL. Mario Kempes gets forgotten. He got Argentina's first World Cup. Yep. Actually, have you seen that final? Have you ever watched that final, the 78th final?
I did.
We don't need to talk about the corruption in that World Cup, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, all I say is that, did you see have you seen Gladiator, the film?
Yes.
Bro, it was like the Colosseum. Like how they had all the confetti coming. I was like, bro, that, like basically, once that's then you can't lose. You can't lose when you have that final. HH will remember Czechoslovakia from 94 to 04. Now, maybe, Mike, you can help me up. When did the big breakup happen of USSR? Was
92.
So the Soviets. So basically, the last World Cup that the Soviet Union had a team was 86.
Yeah, because I don't think they qualified to 1990.
So wait, what were the first countries to break up? It was Croatia, wasn't it?
No, Croatia was with Yugoslavia. So yeah, you Croatia, Slovenia. I think Slovenia was the first one, and then
because I remember Yugoslavia were in the Euro 2000.
Yeah,
I think
but that was
Yugoslavia in Euro 2000.
But that was mostly made up of Montenegro and Serbian players, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Believe the One. Messi is GOAT. Messi not only has a World Cup, he also has 4 UCLs. Mbappe has a World Cup, but will soon get a UCL and when he leaves that Bombers LSG team. And no Ballon d'Or at the moment, but he'll get one when that Bombers PSG team get away from him.
But here's my issue. I agree with you finally. I don't think the Ballon d'Or matters anymore. Like I feel like
it's only matter to cover up the lack of a World Cup now.
Because the thing is, if Messi is gonna get the Ballon d'Or for winning the World Cup, which was 3 months of the year, that's crazy. So like that means for what you did for the entire season, from the beginning to the end, doesn't matter. And you're gonna win.
No.
Hold on. Yes, sir. We do that. We do that every year with the Champions League. We base the winner based off a 13-game.
Yeah, but then it's like I always feel like in my opinion, I get it, and you're right, Ricardo. But then it's like it gets to a point where like it doesn't matter what any other player does. If a player wins a Champions League or wins a World Cup, and if they're extremely popular, they will automatically.
Yeah, but it's
no, don't do that. No. Yes, you remove the popular word away from it. It's World Cup tax. Cannavaro. That was the year in which, remember the Arsenal-Juve game where Arsenal pimped Juventus and Cannavaro was garbage in that game against Arsenal in the UCL. But Cannavaro had a superb World Cup and they gave it to him. Cannavaro isn't some kind of popular player or so forth.
Didn't Ronaldo win World Player of the Year for winning that?
There you go. Also, what the hell did he do in the season?
Is that fair though? That's my question. Is that fair?
It's not about fairness.
But yes. That is how I started this whole thing. That can you now see why it was so important for Messi to win the World Cup? Because the World Cup is this. It's football's tournament. It is football's Super Bowl. It is football's NBA Finals. This is the Champions League is cool. Your league is cool. Your Euros, AFCON is cool, but the World Cup, that is football's great trophy.
No, but I get that. You're 1000% correct. But I feel like yes, that should be like the primary, like how you judge someone. That should be like the core. But my issue is like, especially with Messi and winning this Ballon d'Or, is, bro, you have not been good for PSG at all. This I don't maybe like
No. But yes,
but
did you hear what I
you
said?
haven't.
Nah,
Can
No, no.
Neymar didn't
hold
do
on, hold
much
on,
for
hold on,
Juventus?
hold on. That is so cap. You can't say Messi has been
No, but
not for PSG when he's quite literally been their most consistent player this season.
come on, Ricardo.
It's just, but if he's the most consistent player for PSG, then what does that make the second place guy for the Ballon d'Or, which
Okay.
is Mbappe?
Okay, Ricardo. The reason. Okay, and we got to put this in context, right?
Mhm.
Compared to whom, though? Okay, are we comparing Messi's performance for PSG?
Look. Yes, we have lots of topics.
Yeah,
We'll probably come back to this. So let's hit the other one. Okay. Oh God. Now, Ricardo, please just.
Hey man, I haven't been on here for a minute, so I'm willing to get a red card for this.
Okay, now look, 122 goals. I just want a sentence reaction of what that is sick of what you feel about that stat. 122 goals, and try not to use any swear words. Ricardo, put your tongue back, because please, because that is.
Let Yasir go first. Let my boy Yasir
Okay,
go
please,
first.
please go first, so I can get that image out of my head.
122 goals for what do you mean? Like
For
Cristiano
Portugal.
Ronaldo
Portugal.
getting 122 international goals.
for Ronaldo, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, the Sui guy.
I think you have to commend it. You have to commend it. It's not easy scoring goals. It's not. It really isn't.
Okay.
I trust me. I played football. We all play football. Putting the ball in the back of the net, it's not easy. Yeah, there's defenders there. There's midfielders there, and there's also goalkeeper there. They have to beat. So scoring goals is not easy. It's not easy.
Yes. We understand how football works.
No, I'm just. But
It's like if like we've not
No.
sports for most of our lives. Like we know that there's a keeper, there's a midfielder, and there's a defender.
It's 2023. You have
He's
to
trying to
say-
add that. He's trying to add that.
No. It's 2023. You have to explain this because a lot of people, football Twitter, people the people in the streets, they don't understand that because apparently scoring goals is not important or it doesn't matter. Yada yada. So I gotta commend him. I gotta commend him.
Okay.
But also
all right.
I also believe that I was having an agenda against the European
Whoa,
qualification.
no, easy. We'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
This is just very short, and we'll get it. So, Mike, general thoughts on 122 goals for Cristiano. What is your reaction to it?
Great achievement. Move on.
Okay. Ricardo, one.
Yo, why is it? We couldn't just say a little more words before you come.
No.
to me?
We'll get
No,
it.
this is
We'll
a
get
short
it.
reaction.
This is a short reaction. This is a short reaction.
Okay.
Just your initial short reaction, one sentence reaction to 122 goals.
Cool. That's all I can say. Cool.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So here's my thing here. Now, in the video that I said, 122 is 122, and that is, as Yassi just said, and it's still a great achievement, and it is something to herald and so forth. There are two ways to view it. There is the Guinness Book of Records way, and there's the football way. Bro, I remember, I don't know, it's so weird because like everything is online. So, did you always have in your school library the Guinness Book of Records in your school library?
Yep.
Bro, I loved that. Whenever I went there, I just quickly went into the football section. For years, this dude called Ali Dai was always there. I was like, who's this dude that's always there? So for years, he had the record. For a long time, this was Shevchenko, Weah, Batistuta, R9, Inzaghi. All this time, Ali Dai was the guy who had the record for the most goals. But here's the thing, though. It wasn't made to be a big deal. Like, what guys were chasing were, okay, I need my World Cup, I win my Champions League. So that milestone that Ali Dai had, it wasn't that much of a big deal. So my thing here is this, and this is where I just want to be fair here. So, guys, this is the top 10 list of goal scorers. This is the top 10 list of goal scorers and so forth. So,
Here we go.
now, let me just say this again. So, Neymar and Pele are both tied on 77. Oh, wow. Lewandowski, 78. Hussein Said from Iraq, 78.
Shout out to
Godfrey Chitalu from Zambia, Africa Stand Up.
Godfrey.
Ali Mapkut, United Arab Emirates. Puskas, Hungary. Sunil Chetri from India. Mokhtar Dahari, Malaysia. Lionel Messi. Ali Dai, Iran. Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, that's one aspect. Here is another aspect here, and I think I already put this video out here, and this comes to a point that I think Mike was alluding to in the previous segment. This is San Marino. So this is just a taster.
Oh, let them be.
This is just a taster of what the kind of European opposition is. So my thing is context is very key. Yes, it's a great achievement. Yes, scoring goals is hard. Yes, we must recognize that milestone. But Messi, the bulk of his games are in the Conmebol. The worst, again, Ricardo can help me out here. You'd say the worst in Conmebol, you say, is Bolivia or Venezuela.
It's
Yep.
Bolivia if you're playing. If they're playing away from
Away, yes.
If you go to La
If
Paz,
you play
it's hell.
altitude, yes. So, but okay, put everything into context. It's Bolivia.
1970 Brazil.
Yeah. So basically, so you would say it's Bolivia. Bolivia will give birth to these guys, who, as you can see, are made up of shop workers, factory workers, accountants, and guys who run an the olive oil company. And so, like Ricardo, you can laugh only once. I said to myself that, bro, if at halftime they say, "Yo, Vale, Vitioli, we just got robbed." Now what?
HH, I'm gonna go watch San Marino in June. By the way,
Hey!
they're playing
that's
here.
good. And that's good, man. So my thing here is, it's a great achievement, but you have to look at context, and the context being European qualification and looking at the kinds of teams that he's scoring his goals against. Because when Ali Dye had that record, we were like, okay, cool, but it doesn't matter. You see, what matters for Cristiano? That's Champions League record. That Champions League record that he has, that's the one that's really good. Because that's like, okay, wow, you did that. Because it's the kinds of teams you're going up against and the level that the UCL is at. San Marino, Luxembourg, Antarctica,
No.
the North
Okay.
Pole,
Wait.
South Pole, Lapland. Come on, man.
Hey, shout out to Lapland. I need to backtrack especially on the Luxembourg one. They're actually quite decent nowadays.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this, HH. They're higher in the FIFA rankings than Guinea-Bissau.
So Mike, that was like the one in
Well,
the chamber
you
you're
know,
holding.
I'm just speaking facts here because Luxembourg are actually, I checked, they're 90th in the FIFA rankings. They're not a bad team.
Wait, so
now-
hold on. Is this Luxembourg where all the gold is kept? Like,
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
very
it's
rich
lovely.
country, very rich
Yeah,
country. Now, when it comes to San Marino, Liechtenstein, Gibraltar, Malta, they should not be in Euro qualifiers. It's like I alluded to in that tweet. They should have a pre-qualifiers to the Euro qualifiers. It's like similar they do in AFCON. You know, countries like, unfortunately, Yasir, Somalia, Eritrea, these countries, they have a pre-qualifiers to the AFCON qualifiers to determine then which teams make it to the AFCON qualifier groups. They should do the exact same thing in Europe. I don't understand why. But now because they've created this Nations League, it's kind of given a bit of a more competitive edge for these minnow teams. They have no bit. Gibraltar versus the Netherlands. Netherlands had 50 shots on target.
Mike, come on, man.
Look,
Mike,
I'm
come on,
gonna go watch my nation play against San Marino in June. I'm not gonna go there and be like, wow, this is gonna be some amazing football. It's gonna be a training session. That's what it's gonna be. Like, these players.
Wait, is Pookie still playing for your
Yes,
boys?
and he's finito. He is so done, bro. He looks like he can play in the Sunday League with me right now. He is terrible.
Mike, what was that team that knocked out Italy?
North Macedonia.
North Macedonia.
Now they're decent.
I mean, I feel like that's the thing. Over time, you never know what teams actually get better. Like,
Well,
I know we made fun of North Macedonia.
Again, maybe Mike can like. So, is that part of Greece? I mean, I'm trying to think. They had
No, but they have beef. They have beef with
Sorry,
Greece.
they have beef with
Yes.
Greece. So my
Yes.
thing is that Macedonia's origins and so forth is very different, and they were never as bad as San Marino. San Marino have been bad from jump.
Oh, yeah,
San Marino,
they've been terrible
It's a
forever.
freaking. I think is it like 100,000, 200,000 people?
No, I don't think it's even that. It's literally like this small in the middle of Italy. It's nothing.
Yeah. So
It's
my thing
it's
is
the
like,
equivalent of Vatican City playing in Euro qualifiers.
But Mike, are you surprised though? Like I feel like
No, of course not.
The people that let's be honest, the people with power, FIFA, they do this because that's why European teams have the most spots. And like you look at Europe doesn't have more countries than Africa. I don't know. I don't know geography, but
No, yeah, Africa has more.
yeah, Africa has more. But like, how does Europe have more spots? It makes no sense.
No,
to me.
but yes,
You know?
I've stopped complaining because I'm like, you have to now be mature with this. Who created the World Cup?
Exactly.
Europeans.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
if I create something, I'm gonna cater for my people. So I'm like, oh, cool. It's your thing. You
No.
created it. It's your the reason why it's here. All right, cool. So I'm not gonna. So
Yeah.
I've stopped that. So let me come to.
Yeah. I
So let me come to.
just quickly
Yeah.
want to say the one thing I do wish. I know maybe with logistics and all that stuff, it might not be possible, but I wish that they made the European qualifiers more even throughout the world. Where instead of like you qualifying amongst like the countries you're in, they do in a way where like you can kind of compete with other countries as well. And it is what it is. So you have like a mix, but
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, wait. So Elias, your view on
What's
the
up?
122 goals for Cristiano? Aloha, aloha, aloha.
I think you said it pretty well. It's an amazing achievement. Congrats. Context does matter. But even if he achieved this, I don't think that this is his greatest achievement. I think that UCL record is a bigger achievement. And when it really matters, you look at the World Cup. Like I think that's a more fitting account. Like, yes, you scored this amount of goals for Portugal, but when Portugal needed you most, the goals weren't there. But once again, take nothing away. That was a fantastic achievement from Ronaldo. All you can give him is praise, but you have to look at the greater context.
Yes, yeah. Expand on the 122 goals before Ricardo gets my channel banned.
No. With the whole 122 goes. As unfair as a lot of people say in terms of like the teams that he plays and stuff like that. As much as you want to put context in it, when as a footballer, you're a footballer. You play the games that you're meant to play. At the end of the day, the fact that Portugal gets to play all the San Marino, all that stuff. To be honest, I think kind of it's a bit irrelevant because
how's this irrelevant? Because like we judge you based basically we judge you based on your position. Like we can give you praise, but it's not all praise is the same. So how can I give you the same praise of beating a UFC fighter as the same as beating an old lady?
No,
so
but,
I should praise you the same from Stone Cold stunning an old lady, the same as beating a UFC. Look, I need to work on my analogies and so forth. But I do this off the cuff, man. So bear with me. I don't write this stuff down.
No,
I do them off of the dome. So
no, I get that, but at the end of the day, this is not something that footballer can control. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, you got to judge the footballer with things that they have full control over.
No. Yes, that's true. But at the end of the day, what is what is 100%.
Yeah.
Here's no Cristiano isn't picking the I want to play this because I don't want to play this guys, but it is what it is. Conmebol has a lot harder teams to play against than in Europe. So my thing is that I can't give the same praise to Cristiano scoring a two-piece against San Marino than, let's say, Messi scoring a two-piece against Bolivia, because Bolivia are significantly tougher opposition than San Marino or Liechtenstein or Luxembourg.
I'm not saying that. I'm not
saying
only
that. You have to take in for example, the altitude, the humidity, because going to these places, going to Bolivia, going to these places, it's extremely difficult.
No, it is 100%. That's facts. That's actual fact. I cannot dispute against that. But then again, I cannot just go to Cristiano Ronaldo and say like, hey, you know what? Because you're Portuguese, you're playing against this team. You're 122. It's not that impressive. Like, come on. Like, at the end of the day, he's not Argentinian. He's not Brazil. He doesn't play in the Congo. You played for Europe. He plays for a European nation. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, he didn't control it. He was this is a team that was right in front of him, and he put goals past them, and rightfully so. So, and kudos to him.
Okay, Ricardo.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Oh, 122. So 122. I think 122 goals. I think is more of a testament to his longevity in sport rather than how significant it is. Because let's keep it a stack. Like before Ronaldo broke that record, I don't think genuinely anybody really cared about who the all-time. Like, I don't even know that Iranian dude was the all-time. I don't even know who he was.
No, he played for Bayern Munich. Yeah, he played for Bayern Munich.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I must have been like whatever, young as hell.
No,
But
it was when HH was young.
okay, makes sense. But anyways, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a testament to his longevity. Now, I'm a petty guy. I like to think I'm a petty guy, and I've genuinely thought that the European qualifiers. Shout out to all my Europeans out there. I love you guys so much. This shit is a joke. This shit is a joke. Let me tell you. Let me cook. It's on preheat right now. All right. And I see this from the Ronaldo fans all the time, which is fine. They are who they are. The fact that I don't even think friendlies exist amongst European teams anymore.
No.
So that quite literally means, and this is the most shameless stat I've always seen, that Ronaldo has more official competitive goals, when quite literally everything he plays is considered competitive. Goals against San Marino, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, they're all considered official goals. And you have not only the World Cup and the Euros, but you also have World Cup qualifiers. You have Euro qualifiers. And now what the UEFA have done is forget friendly goals. Let's take that away. Let's take away friendly games and substitute it with Nations League, so you can rack up more to your goal tally and call them competitive goals. Look, if you want me to be critical, I'll be critical. 122 goals is, like I said, it's a testament. It's a testament to his longevity. But out of those 122 goals, only 3 of them have actually really mattered. And they have come in the Euros knockout rounds. So you're telling me that you can score...
Hold on. Wait, what do you say?
I said out of your 122 goals that you have scored, only 3 of them have come in a Euros knockout round. Okay, only 3 of them. Now, you can say there's 6 in total if you want to count the 3 Nations League knockout goals against Switzerland, where he scored a hat trick. So that's 6 in total. And he has 3 assists. So he's played 100.
Ricardo, I'm gonna double check that, because that's wild.
Yeah, I did. I wouldn't say anything that hasn't been fact checked. Now, now Ronaldo has played 198. I believe he just broke the record for most appearances at the international level, 198. Like I said, another incredible record, but it's a testament to his longevity. Out of the 100 in those 198 games, he scored 122 goals and he has 43 assists. Now, these are transfer market assists. That the way they record assists is actually like very weird. They count getting fouled as a penalty and somebody else takes it as an assist for some reason. They call rebounded shots as an assist for some reason. But regardless, 122 goals, 43 assists. The total amount of stats that Ronaldo and those numbers that it has contributed to knockout is 6 goals and 3 assists. Now, when we go back to Conmebol and why it's significantly harder, which is really anybody who tries to argue that it's not the most difficult qualifier.
Has anybody actually tried to dispute
there are
it?
people. There are people.
Wow.
Because if you're saying Copa America is shit, which a lot of people say, by extension, you're saying the qualifiers of the South American qualifiers are shit, because they're the same teams that represent the same tournament. So that makes no sense.
I don't know if it's the hardest though. Maybe it's not.
Pound for pound.
Okay, let's see. This is what I say. Okay, if it isn't, what is a harder qualifying campaign than the Conmebol? Then you have to give me an answer.
I think Africa is impossible.
Africa. I would honestly rank it that it would be Conmebol first, then Africa, and then UEFA.
Yeah, like Africa's impossible.
The only thing I would argue against Conmebol, if you are Brazil or Argentina, it's not hard. If you are any of the 8 other teams,
I mean, 2010 and 2018 World Cup qualifiers, Argentina made it difficult for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
for
Well,
themselves.
But
I
how
would
many
say,
times has that happened though? That's the thing.
Yeah, not a
I would
lot.
say though, like how hard is it, for example, Bolivia, when you're playing against, for example, three national teams that are World Cup winners. You're playing Uruguay, you're playing Brazil, you're playing Argentina. When you're looking, for example, at Africa, how many are like World Cup winning teams?
No, but Elias, the thing with Africa is it's
And
not
there's
about
only
the
10
quality of the teams. It's about the travel, the pitches, the corruption, everything with Africa.
I don't know because what's it? Because
So that's where you could
even
bring in.
yeah. Like, no, I think that's why we have to take what the context is. I think because Iwobi was actually on a podcast and he talked about how if we actually played on a proper pitch in Nigeria, would actually be unbeatable. But our pitches are so bad. So I think we have to basically add a bit of like details. I think what makes Africa hard, as you said, is the organization. It is the travel and it's the preparation. Preparation is so garbage. The organization is so crap
I'll be
that
honest,
mentally,
HH.
psychologically, you've already lost the game because of the crap you've already had to deal with before even getting to the hotel. If you have a hotel, and to the game.
I'll be honest, HH. I do agree that what's it called? That the African Federation is more out there, but like the Conmebol Federation isn't far off of corruption.
No. I've heard stories.
It's horrendous. Now, anyways, let's get back to it. So, Lionel Messi, he has 99 goals, about to hit 100. First South American player to ever hit 100, which is pretty impressive because I never thought I'd see the day. Transfer market assist, like I said, transfer market assist is 55. Okay. He has 5 goals in the World Cup, 6 assists in the knockouts. Mainly, all of them came from this last tournament, if we're being honest. And then Copa America, it's 5-11, which brings his total to 10 goals and 17 assists in knockout rounds in both tournaments. When you add context, I'm sorry, Cristiano Ronaldo's numbers really aren't that great or they don't favor him. Like I said, it's more of a testament to his longevity, which it's one of the best of all time. But, I mean, I don't want to look too far into it, so it's not. It is what it is.
I mean, HH, here's another example of how tough African qualifiers are. Do you know who Cameroon lost to today?
Who?
Namibia.
But my thing though is that down to competitiveness or down to whatever kind of stuff is happening within the federations and so forth for Cameroon? Because my thing is,
who's the president of Cameroon?
It's Eto.
So then he's got to take some accountability.
No, 100%. Look for me. My thing though is, look, I think the whole Africa thing that is a whole long discussion because it goes beyond football. It's about politics. It's about history and about structure. So that's a long discussion.
Where would we be able to see like African powerhouses? Because like I would love to see that.
Morocco's doing it.
No, but here's the thing though. Football has changed.
Yeah.
Like now, look at what Japan and Morocco did. It's not about systems now. You see, back in the day when you had Patrick Mboma for Cameroon, Roger Miller for Cameroon, you had Abedi Pele Yeboah for Ghana, and of course you had Okocha, Olise, Amokachi, Amunike for Nigeria. Africa had like quality, amazing individuals, but I think what has happened is a lot of those individual talents it's still there, but somehow as the years have gone by, the federations have become less organized. They've invested less into scouting the talent that is out there. So therefore, you have situations where African teams can hardly even get through the African groups. So right now, Africa's best hope is, Morocco just beat Brazil 2-1. So they don't have Neymar. How do you beat Brazil because you don't have Neymar? So Morocco right now, that is now like Africa's best team now. But what Morocco isn't what the Super Eagles were in the 90s or what Cameroon were in the 90s, where no, these guys could have genuinely done something. But again, football has changed. It's about systems now, not about
individuals. I have a question about that. How good was Egypt? I know Egypt pretty much in terms of...
they lost to Senegal, right?
Yeah,
he's talking about 2004 to 2008.
Yeah, no. See, I think for Egypt, it's one of those things where it's the weird mystery of football. Amazing team, superb, amazing team that deserved to win those 3 AFCONs. But when it just came to qualifying, they just couldn't get into the mindset of just doing well in those games. That's why one of the tragic stories is, man, what if one of those years Egypt could have been in 2010 or in 06? Who knows what they could have done? All right, let me quickly take some Dubinskis, man. 6 Dubinskis. So shout out to Abris Fair. Immobile lifted a trophy in England before. What? Which trophy was this? Oh,
The
Euros. Elijah, San Marino has won. Bro, okay, here's how crazy it is. Do you know that
That's
there was
crazy.
a big deal made when San Marino scored a goal?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually remember it's actually made news. It's made news when they actually scored a goal and they celebrated like it was the end of the world. I mean, what is this, man? I mean, my God, man. Miguel Rabines. Actually, no, hold on. Let me read this. Sorry. Off topic. Spain lost to freaking Scotland 2-0. Wow. My God, how far have they fallen? Next
Yes,
year's
sir.
will be
Shout
on
out to your
December.
boy McSauce.
Oh,
He has
McTominay with a
scores
brace.
four
Yo,
goals in
McTominay.
2 games.
Exactly.
4 goals in 2 games.
And then, and this was a game where like no Barcelona players were starting. It was like 0 Barcelona players. Remember how like before the World Cup, like the Madrid press was like saying like, "Yo, Luis Enrique is like favoring all these Barcelona players, and that's why Spain isn't winning." The one game where no Barcelona players are and they lose.
Wow.
Real G's move in silence.
Exactly.
Rodri was playing in that midfield, the best DM in the world. So I mean,
So Abris Fred says, no, sorry. And for the record, never ever compare World Cup qualifying in South America to
yeah, it's a joke.
Venezuela and Bolivia can actually cause upsets. Yeah, South American World Cup qualifying is the worst. No.
It's just a
Like,
joke.
I think, here's my thing. In terms of just the quality of teams from top to bottom, South America. Because my thing is that Bolivia can play football. Like, I think in almost every other federation, you have teams who I don't think they know how to play football. So the very worst of South America can at least, on the very basis, play football. In other places, the guys these guys are semi-pros, So that's a big difference. Abritz Fair, Zidane got fifth in the Ballon d'Or voting in 06 and was retired. World Cup tax is heavy. Yeah. Also, Oliver Kahn over Arnan in 02 World Cup. No, Arnan was top scorer.
Nah,
And he
Oliver
dropped
Kahn
two
in that
pieces.
World Cup was ridiculous too.
It was amazing, but
Yep.
that's first goal in the final, man. It is,
Yeah.
and he knew he messed up. Yes, yeah. Why was Ribery and Snyder robbed?
To be honest, I was advocating for those robberies because like I told you, I was a Messi fanboy. Guys, I was deep, man. I was deep in that. Pause.
Whoa.
Pause.
Whoa.
I was a Messi fanboy.
Whoa.
I was
Whoa.
Messi.
Whoa,
Messi.
I'm gonna clip that and put that on Twitter. And I'll tag you.
You know what's funny? I said, and I quote, my argument against Ronaldo fanboys was, if you enjoy football, you are a Messi fan. Simple as that. I literally said, yeah.
Okay. Ricardo, I think this is for you. I think this may be some Peruvian stuff here. Albert Cardenas, Ricardo, you heard about Argentina cheating Peru in 1978?
Yes, I've heard about this. It
Is this true? Were you guys cheated?
It is what it is.
Okay, so basically,
It is. What it is.
wait. Was this what? When was this like the knockout rounds or the groups?
What was this? I freaking can't remember, but I just know about the story. Something to do with some military stuff, threatening players.
Yeah.
Look, 70 stats, man. Albert Cardenas, World Cup is overrated. FIFA equals blood money tax. True goatness is knowing which cups not to glorify. Yeah, I know about FIFA and everything, but it is what it is. Put FIFA out of it. It is still the
World Cup.
Still the World Cup. Just 3. You saw how the streets of Buenos Aires were full of Argentines, like 5 million people. I'm sure Messi must have felt like there's nothing greater than this. Elias, you were right there. Elias, what was it like?
Bro, it was like one of the best experiences of my life. Just having all those people just like celebrating. It's a once in a lifetime event. And hopefully it won't be a once in a lifetime event. Hopefully I can see Argentina celebrate another World Cup.
So basically, like there was no work, so it was like a national holiday. Everyone
yeah, it was a national holiday. What's it called? Everyone was out in the streets. Everyone. It was completely packed. Like the entire downtown, the streets were like filled with people. It was so packed, like you couldn't move. Like people were like so tightly packed, and like people were jumping, and like you had to jump with them because like there was just so many people. But it was amazing. It was amazing.
Wow. Abris Fairman, didn't Zidane get voted the best European player ever while he was still playing? CR7 is great, but every time he faced Messi in a CL, he ghosted. If you were to ask me, the best European is Zidane. For me, I'm saying the greatest European for me is Zidane.
But then I'm not gonna lie to you, HH. You can nitpick. I'm not Ronaldinho was one of my favorite players. Like
Prodigy? No.
Like Ronaldinho is my favorite player. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Dino is my guy.
Yeah.
But you can nitpick Zidane, Dino's career. Longevity is a thing. Messi, Ronaldo, they kind of transcended football.
But Yasir, you can nitpick at Ronaldo's World Cup campaigns too.
You can, but then also like
no. You don't even have to nitpick. No, Ricardo. Nitpick is like you have to find something, bro. It's right there. Knockout goals. Hello. 5 editions. Hello. Can I get a knockout goal? So you don't have to nitpick. It's right there.
How many UCLs for Zidane? How many UCLs for Zidane?
I mean,
at least he won a UCL.
5.
He's won a World
Cup.
Cup.
Ronaldo has 5. Come on, guys.
All right,
respect on his name.
And there's 3. Fun fact: San Marino has never won a competitive match. Never. They only have 1 win, and it comes in a friendly. Funnily enough, against Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike, why didn't you add that tidbit into it? I thought that was actually a competitive game. But Mike, come on, Mike, what are you doing? So now you know what? I take back my. Well, it wasn't even a competitive game, man. God damn it. I was fair. Barcelona claiming Champions League title from 1937, reward of $2. What? From 1937, the hell? Tao Errons. African and Asian qualifiers are the most difficult. No, for me, I still say, look, I know you can use context. I just think, taking everything into account, Conmebol is wild. Conmebol, I still say the one is wild.
The altitude is different. I went to Peru and the altitude was not. It's not normal, bro. It's not.
Yeah, I need to do my South American trip, man. Look, man, Ricardo and Elias, hook me up when I go down. All right, so let's talk about the man. Nagelsmann to Chelsea, Ricardo. Should I be happy? Do you think that's something that could,
But you're Potter.
You should start twerking.
Showtime's coming back. Showtime's coming back.
La cucaracha, Nagelsmann. There you go. You know.
I mean, shit. I mean, you're definitely not winning with what's it called, Harry Potter. So
Quidditch.
Quidditch.
No, Ricardo. I'm trying to get him sacked before April 13th, 14th, and so forth,
yeah,
bro.
Like,
bro. What's J.K. Rowling against Carlo? Nah.
Hey, but you're gonna have Conte. You're gonna have Enzo.
Elias,
James,
J.K. Rowling doesn't know how to manage a team. She can write a book. She can write a damn good book. She doesn't know how to manage a team, man. Shout out to J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I mean, you guys better be the ones to snatch him up because he has options. I think Nagelsmann has options. And I think those options are going to start flooding in.
So basically, if you're advising Nagelsmann, what would you say he should go? So I suppose you're saying, so there's Chelsea, there's Tottenham.
There's Real Madrid
apart from Chelsea and Tottenham, what?
There's Real Madrid as well because Ancelotti's probably going to leave. And assuming Raul and Xabi Alonso, there was rumors about Tuchel, but Nagelsmann's got to be on the radar for Real Madrid. What other teams are out there?
PSG?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. But
Nagelsmann, like
I feel if he goes to PSG, it would just be like for the money because like
PSG would be an awful choice. So, yeah, especially for someone as young who is younger than me, it would be awful for him to go to PSG.
I mean, club, young manager. So
but he would get the bag though. He would get so much money at PSG.
No, exactly. but yes, that would be going for the money. Career. It would ruin his career. Okay, so I mean, Mike, if you're Nagelsmann, what should you do? Because see, here's my thing. I want that Bowman's Quidditch out of my club pronto. But I think Nagelsmann is like Quidditch, but a better version because at least his resume is better. He's actually performed in the freaking UCL. So if you're Nagelsmann, what do you do? And Mike, don't dare say Tottenham because those guys are freaking losers, man.
Well, I don't know where else he's going to go other than Tottenham, to be honest. Yeah, look, you can try and get him to Chelsea, but you're stuck with that manager.
Says who?
No, HH, you know what you need to do? You need to use the core tactic. You just need to send DMs to Todd Bowley, tell him to sack the manager, and then maybe you'll get Nagelsmann. Because at the moment, you're stuck with him, and you're going to be stuck with him until next season. That's what's going to happen. Sorry to break it to you. Julian Nagelsmann, I think he's going to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, is that the right decision? I don't think so, but I think he kind of looks at it like a project. I think Nagelsmann is a project manager. He looks at Hoffenheim, was a younger manager there, built the squad. They finished in the top 4, did very well. RB Leipzig was kind of a project, made it to UCL semifinal with that squad, was really good. And then obviously Bayern, that was his dream club. He's been a fan, so he had to take the job, and they paid 15 million to get him out of that contract with RB Leipzig. I just don't know where Julian Nagelsmann goes otherwise.
You know what, Mike? Let me remove my bias and let me bring in like my GOAT analysts here. You're right. Tottenham is the right move for him. Yep. You know why Tottenham is the right move for him? It's because Tottenham, you have to realize what you guys are. You're losers. Now, this is no offense to Nagelsmann and so forth. So I mean this in the nice sense of the word. They thought they were like winners. Bring in Mourinho, bring in Conte. We'll talk about Conte. Bring in Mourinho and Conte, and then we can win. You're just not built that way. Nagelsmann is perfect for Tottenham because a manager this young who's still figuring out himself can really be allowed to succeed, fail, and really build some kind of like a personality with them. Specifically, if we're assuming Kane is going to go to United this summer, which is most likely going to happen, I think Levy and Tottenham be like, look, let's just go back to vibes. Let's go back to the days of Harry Redknapp and Martin Yule and just try to have some sort of a character. We are not Chelsea. We are not Liverpool. We're not United. We are not these guys who can demand to get trophies and so forth. We just have to just go build support a manager in his vision. Just to build a team and so forth, rather than put pressure on like, oh my gosh, we need a trophy this season, because you're obviously not built that freaking way.
I mean, they tried the philosophy of getting that win now manager, and it clearly failed. So they need to go back to what they were before. Build a project, build some youth players, because I look at the young players now. Skip? No. Like, what else do they have? They don't really have any of the young players, Tottenham. So what they need to do is use the academy, because it's actually quite a decent academy. Use it with Nagelsmann and just build a squad for many years. It's not going to be win now with Nagelsmann, and he's not really been that sort of manager. At Bayern, of course, he's going to win the Bundesliga. That's a guarantee. But at Hoffenheim and RB Leipzig, there was no pressure to win. It's about developing players, selling them off. Like Konate, like Upamecano, these sort of Timo Werner, sold it to you. And look what happened. Yeah, exactly. If Nagelsmann can get Timo Werner to score all these goals, he can get, I think, most players to score that's insane amount of goals. It's just about building a project. And I would like Nagelsmann to go to like Inter or Juventus if they had a free manager. I just don't think they have the money to do it. Genuinely, I don't think they have the money. And one thing Tottenham will do is they'll give the manager money. They gave Conte 15 million, so that won't be an issue to him. It's just, I don't know where else he could go, because if Chelsea was open, I would think it would be a perfect idea to go to Chelsea.
No, because my thing though is,
but would you even want like a project manager? Because like you've said before,
Elias, no. See, exactly. no, but okay, Elias, this is my thing. No, I don't want a project manager. But if you had a nuclear warhead to my eyeball, and I had to choose between Nagelsmann, why you guys laugh? So okay. I won't use any more
graphic description.
Nuclear warhead to your eyeball.
Describes a powder as a nuclear warhead.
Okay, screw the analogy. If I had to choose between, so I have to make a choice. It's either Nagelsmann or Quidditch. Of course, it's freaking Nagelsmann.
Just say gun to your head. Just say gun.
No, but I like to be colorful in my analogies.
Nuclear warhead to my eyeball.
No, so my thing, no. So basically, Elias, if I had to choose between Nagelsmann and Quidditch, I chose Nagelsmann. If I had to choose. Now, if I could choose anyone, give me a winner manager. But if let's say, no, I'm sorry, we have to do a project. Choose your project manager. Okay. Give me Nagelsmann then. Because at least he's shown to be a better manager at a high level than this clown.
I have the perfect manager for you. The perfect manager. And I'm telling you, you are a guy that like movies. I think you've said you enjoy movies, screenwriting, all that stuff.
Senior.
Stories, narratives, all that stuff. There's an individual that has won Champions League trophies. He has won too. But for whatever reason, he had not won a Champions League at a specific club. A club, in my opinion, that he molded with his two hands. Shaped and molded. I'm not gonna lie to you. This will be the perfect. Not only that, you have Todd Bowley, American manager, know nothing about football, but he wants to win, wants to spend the money, wants to give the money. And come on, who else but the special one? Who else but the special one? HH. He is the perfect manager for Chelsea because he is Chelsea. Chelsea's Mourinho. Mourinho is Chelsea. It is what it is, HH. Twice he has come back and he has created a winning team. A winning team. Give me Drogba. Who's that? No, give me Drogba. Give me Diego Costa from Atletico Madrid. Are you mad? Yes, give me Diego Costa. Give me Jose Mourinho.
But the thing is,
Come on,
it's Mourinho's. It's not Mourinho. It's
right
Mourinho.
now Chelsea have a squad with young players. Wouldn't Mourinho be the ideal fit for a squad of young players?
You have
Because, like, there aren't like any
no
serial winners in this team.
but it's right here though. Like it's right here. You have Enzo Fernandez, a World Cup winner. You have Mudryk. He has. You know.
Okay. Wait. Ricardo, what should Nagelsmann do?
Like bias aside, I think Nagelsmann, if he has the opportunity to go to Real Madrid, I think he should go to Real Madrid. That's the
under that pressure, and that's guys.
Hey, pressure makes diamonds, man. Pressure makes diamonds. If he's really that guy, that young prodigy manager, if he can succeed at Real Madrid, what better way? Do I see it happening? I could, but I wouldn't say it's likely. I definitely could see stuff that Paul has says, like Raul. Xabi Alonso is actually picking up a lot of like momentum in terms of his name in the European level. So there's that. So there's going to be guys competing for that spot. But I think outside of Real Madrid, I don't think Potter is going to be at the helm coming next season for Chelsea. So that could definitely be up there, especially when you're looking at a league where the managers are the superstars. You have, Klopp, you have Pep, you got arthritis.
Arthritis.
Arteta. Who else? Who's the other superstar? Oh, Conte left. I think Nagelsmann can definitely put himself up there with like his name could be in the balance. Oh, Ten Hag. There we go, Ten Hag. His name could be up there, and I think
Arsenal fans, the views and comments of this show are not all the half-full world.
First, okay, look, I would have said our titties, but I didn't want to get a yellow card.
So let's just get some dubs here. So do you know now that's now stuck in my head now. So now anytime I see that's not what I'll be thinking. I can't. You've screwed me. I messed up. No. I'm sorry. Every time I see that's not going to be my head.
Don't say that in the football term.
Wait, hold on, Elias.
Yes, yeah. I'll say it's my mistake. He's messed up.
HH, to be fair, name
there you go. I messed up.
His name is one letter away of the translation in Spanish.
Oh God! All right, look. Shout out to Elijah. Time to take Great Britain seriously. England, Scotland, and Wales currently top their groups. King Charles, their taxes. Well, that's only to start off with. Let's see how things end up. But shout out to Stuart McTominay.
Actually, how did Spain, España allow Scott McTominay to a brace? I don't get it.
Yeah. Did you read my tweets? I live in a world where Italy have failed to make the World Cup in 2 successive times. Germany have failed to get through their group in 2 successive World Cups. The world is changing. And maybe for the better. The world is changing. It's changing. It's fair. Yes, talks longevity. Yet Zidane's last game was a World Cup final, while CR7 is trying to convince me the Saudi Pro League has a plan. Also, remember 08 and 2012 penalty basis. Okay, guys, let me expose Ricardo. So basically, obviously my DMs are open and everything. I swear to you, almost every single time, 9.9 times out of 10, I see a DM from Ricardo It's something to do with Cristiano.
No,
No, Ricardo, let me expose it. So
you exposing DMs? That's how lame you are.
I know, yeah, bro, I'm shameless. So he'll post something about CR7, and then he'll say, "Man, look at this bum ass clown. They're actually trying to kill this clown." So guys, already. I'll send you his phone number, his WhatsApp number, his Twitter, so another fans can go get it, man. It's fair. Nagelsmann, Milan, Juve for football 6, but no money. Nah, he ain't going to Milan or Juve. Hell no way. Messi, Di Maria with
Bro.
hold
I
up.
still remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, they actually had to have oxygen.
Bro,
Yeah.
that was like throwing up in the middle of the game, man.
Yeah. That's when Maradona was manager, right, Elias?
I don't remember like which manager, but I remember photos and everything. Just like after the game, I was just like,
I think
whoa.
Maradona was manager.
I think Di Maria also got injured.
Okay, guys, let's talk about this dude.
I gotta head out, HH.
Mike, thank you, bro. See you soon.
Peace out, guys.
Thank you. Peace out. So is Antonio Conte a bomb or are Tottenham losers? Where does the pendulum swing more in? Tottenham losers or Conte is a bomb? Yes, yeah.
Tottenham. I to be honest.
So that's Conte should shoulder no blame to where things are at, despite money spent and everything. It's more to do with Tottenham.
No. 1,000%. I think in terms, the only thing you can blame on Antonio Conte is, I mean, I don't know how you can blame him for this because this is just who he is horrible football to watch. Like sometimes is the games that Tottenham were playing, the games. Yes, I am fasting. Yeah, I am fasting. I mean, I've been doing this for so long, bro. It's not that good there anymore. Anyways, but with the type of football that Tottenham been playing, at times how passive they are and all that stuff, I can blame them for that, but I cannot blame him for anything that happened at Tottenham because Tottenham knew. Come on, they knew what they were getting themselves into. I believe, this is my belief, Tottenham board. There's something very, very wrong with them.
Daniel Levy is the issue. He's a businessman. He doesn't care about the club.
I want to be respectful, but I don't know another.
Don't be respectful. Why do you have to be respectful? Be real.
I'm fasting, so I just kind of make sure but I don't know another word other than delusional. That's the only way I can explain because they believed that this team was ready enough to compete for the major honors, and that's why they went after Antonio Conte.
Shout out to Oliver Skip.
They as much as you could blame Conte and everything, they gave Conte an 18-month contract. What does that mean? They think this team is good enough to win. They think this team is good enough to compete for major honors. They genuinely believe that. And Antonio Conte, obviously, when he the first time, and I was like listening to a reporter that was talking about this. That's the reason why the first time he didn't take the job. Because he wanted assurance and make sure that, listen, this team, because Danny Levy believed that this team was good enough to compete. And Antonio Conte said, you're crazy. That's nonsense. This team needs major change. And then Danny Levy was like, okay, no, I don't think so. I don't want to spend all that money, et cetera, et cetera. Then they went for Nuno. Then they said, you know what, maybe Antonio Conte is right. They ended up going back to him. The whole notion of a long-term, all that stuff that people are trying to talk about. What part of
it? But I want to be fair here.
Yeah.
He was supported in the market and he was given money. But so let me be fair here with this whole thing because I am with you on this, but I want to be balanced in this.
I get that.
He did spend.
I get that. He did spend. But let's be honest and let's speak honestly about this. For what Tottenham needs. They need several years of spending just to be at a situation where they can compete. Yet you hire Antonio Conte for an 18-month contract. So you're telling me that, okay, I'm going to spend the amount of money that's Tottenham spent is a lot, but they needed to spend more to get to where they wanted to in a short period of time. Do you guys follow?
No. Yes, look, I'm with you. I just want to try and do like a pushback. Yeah. The overall thing Tottenham was always the wrong club for a Mourinho and a Conte. Tottenham is a club for, let's say, a Redknapp or a Nagelsmann. Tottenham is a vibes club. They're not a winning club. Like when you go to a Chelsea, a Man United, a Liverpool, a Barca, a Real Madrid, you go there to win trophies. You don't go to Tottenham to try and win trophies. I think even made a very good point. To change the culture, the very culture of Tottenham, is going to take several years. Several years, but also several years of truly proper concerted investments from the owner. That's when I'm going to change things. And as I was saying to people, the issue with Tottenham is Daniel Levy. It comes from the very top. The reason why Real Madrid are the way they are is because of Perez. The reason why Chelsea were the way they were during that era was because of Brown. The reason why City have dominated England fully is because of Schickman. So it comes from the very top. Levy is a businessman. So Levy isn't going to be like, I'm going to break my back and be like, I'm going to get that player. You want that player? I'm going to get that player. I'm going to get this guy. And we are, for the next 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to build a team to try to win. Levy's main concern is that's NFL contracts, and now that's effort contracts. What keeps Levy up at night is like, bro, man, those NFL teams, are they good? Are we all good and everything? I don't give a damn whether I win a trophy. He doesn't really care. Like, yes, yeah. A guy who sacks a manager who gets you to your first final in years, that is an owner who has a truck for bricks. Wait, hold on. Let me come to Ricardo. Conte and Spurs. Spurs being losers, or Conte is crying like an old lady.
I think it's just, I think both things can be true. I think Conte, I mean, when he was at Juventus, top quality manager. I mean, his record in Europe has always been very suspect.
Crap.
But and then I think at Inter he did relatively a decent job. But I think over the years he's really starting to. He's not evolving with the game. And if you don't evolve, you get left behind. And I think that's coming to the case. I mean, look at the teams he has managed and the teams he's managed them at the times. Like every club he has gone to, it looks like it's progressively just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So both things can be true. Conte did say the right, like he said what it is about Spurs, but at the same time, he probably doesn't have the right now pedigree to be saying it. Maybe if he was still living, like if he was fresh off that Juve dynasty, then sure, but he's not. He's kind of been on the decline as well as a manager. But then Tottenham have always been Tottenham. Like I'll be honest, man. Growing up, I used to think Tottenham was just a team that if you couldn't go to Arsenal or Chelsea and you wanted to be in London, you just go to Tottenham. That's the way I always saw it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Because they never win anything. I don't know.
I agree with Ricardo.
Like London,
100%.
If you're rich, if you want to be a popular footballer, London is one of the places to be in.
Yeah.
If you can't make it to Arsenal, you can't make it to Chelsea. Hey man, the third choice. I mean, you're not gonna win anything, but you'll probably make good money. And that's Tottenham. I see the whole team as pretty much just a collection of average to sometimes good players. I hope Guti Romero leaves because he deserves better than that. But there are also a lot of players in that team who deserve to be there. Harry Kane is the one I have a main beef with because, like, why are you still at that club? Like, if you're serious about winning anything, but I think just Tottenham as a whole, like everything Yasir said is true. Like these guys, they're serial losers. I don't even know if you can call them losers because to be a loser, you actually have to consistently be in places where you can be a winner, and they've never been anywhere near that. These guys just exist. They exist. Probably a money laundering scheme in London. It is what it is. Like that's who they are. I think
him though. That's one thing.
Wait, hold on. Ilias, Conte, and Spurs. Where are you at with it?
I think Ricardo said the points that I was going to say. It's just like I think it's a combination of both. I think Tottenham they're not a winning club. They don't have that mentality. They don't have that culture like other big clubs do. And I think Conte, he hasn't been progressing with the game. The football that these teams are playing, they hasn't been progressive enough. When you look at Conte's European record, how are you not doing better with these teams that you're managing? Like it's extremely disappointing. Like Conte should be doing better with these teams, but at the same time, you're at Tottenham, like a club where they, as you said, they sack the manager that brings them to their first final in years. Like how can this make sense? I don't know where Tottenham go from here. Do they keep Conte? What's it called? Like what do you do with the club? But I think it's a combination of both. I don't think it's just like one of them. I think, as you said, it's a combination of both.
No, but one thing I don't understand is Conte came off of winning Scudetto with Inter Milan. You look at the Inter Milan team. Fundamentally, you look at the Spurs team. You can't compare. The only thing you can compare is maybe the strike partnership of Martinez, Lukaku, with Harry Kane and Yeon-min Song of last season. Yeah, you can say, okay, that's comparable. But other than that, it's like, bro, how you look at the Tottenham team. Tottenham team, they don't have a single center back that's as good as Bastoni, what we call it, Devay, and what was the other guy, Skriniar. Those were class center backs. And fundamentally, when you look at Antonio Conte's side, his three center backs are key to the way he plays football.
He has a World Cup winner. Respect him.
No, I just feel like the team is just not good enough, and he knows that, and he just like
they've never been good enough. This is their level. Like this is.
It's enough for me. That's why I think like them getting Mourinho and Conte, don't try and be something that you're not. Don't try and be something that you're not, man. Look. All right. When it's back, I'll play about that. I can do that. So it's like don't try and be something that they're not. I think Tottenham, they thought that, man, we can be like Arsenal, we can be like Chelsea, we can be like United. No, you can't be. Now, and here's the thing, and I think yes, you will make the right points and so forth. If you want to be like those guys, do the work. They thought that, we'll just hire Mourinho and you'll magically that'll happen. No. The reason why Mourinho was able to be successful at Inter and at Chelsea was because he had the proper support for him to be put that way. So Levy just wants these things to happen without actually doing the legwork. What he wants is that, okay, hire the manager, you just go win the trophy, but I will actually do more work on the business side. No. You also have to do as much work as a manager in terms of proper investments and breaking your back for those key players that are needed to win that freaking trophy. Like, someone said this, I think it was in another thing. Wigan, Portsmouth have won more trophies in the space of time that Tottenham have not won a freaking trophy. How have you allowed freaking Wigan and Portsmouth to win the Football Association Cup ahead of you? That's insane. That's insane, man.
So what would have to change for Tottenham in order to become like a winning club?
That's a great question. Here's the thing. First thing, Levy has to go. That's the first thing, because Levy he's clearly not a guy who really cares about the acquiring guys to really say what's up. So first of all, Levy will have to go. Then the next thing is you hire an owner who's actually going to properly invest in trying to actually say what's up for the team. So an owner who's going to be like, all right, in every window, we're going to now try to build a team. And anyways, here's the thing. As Ricardo Giorgio said, two things. Your Premier League, you have the money. Yeah. London as well, attractive city that for people to come to. The amount of pulling power Tottenham have is very good. Because let's be real, players right now, it's not just about how big the club is, it's also about how much money am I going to be earning as well. That is how Chelsea were able to get Enzo. Because the same way, Enzo, how are you not staying at freaking Benfica? Benfica, I feel, have a great chance of going to the UCL final. But for Enzo, this is probably my best chance of getting a huge, massive payday that Benfica ain't going to give me. So Tottenham have the ability to attract top-tier South American, African, and Asian talents because of how much that they can actually give them. And Levy has also exploited that. So if you're able to do that in 2, 3, 4, 5 windows and really build a team with a mix of truly good South American, African, Asian talents with some of your homegrown talents, you now have a team who maybe you won't win a Premier League, but you can win a Karabuki. You can win an FA Cup. I mean, come on. You can at least give me a Karabuki or a freaking FA Cup. Especially when you have a stadium that big, man. So,
but then I would also go into the culture of the club, because, for example, when Todd Bowley goes to Chelsea are expected to win. Okay, my bad. For example, in these big clubs, there's a culture around the team where you're expected to win. The fans.
Who's playing the trumpet? Who's playing the trumpet?
Yeah, someone playing the trumpet.
My guy has an elephant in his washroom.
Wait, Is someone having like a concert?
No, we're moving furniture around the house.
Okay. I was about to say, what the hell is happening there? Okay, go. All right.
This guy has an elephant in his house.
Yeah. All right. So no, my thing here is I think no, because what we're saying, guys, is can the culture of Tottenham be changed? How do you change? How can you change a club from losers to at least attempt to be winners? Can it be freaking changed? Because my thing is that I always try to find solutions here. Levy has to freaking go because it comes from the very top. As long as Levy's there, Tottenham will always have this psychology of pretty much not really investing and doing the legwork for football stuff. So, I mean, Yasi, do you think the culture of Tottenham can be changed? Muted. Okay, there you go. Go for it. Yeah.
I think it can, and I really thought that I know the media made a big deal about what Antonio Conte said. We made a big deal about what Antonio Conte said, but I really wish that that were leaving the board afterwards to close him, in a private room, talk to him like, hey, listen, man, we believe in you. We taught it for you. We spent all this money on you. You are a winner. You teach us how to win. And I think that's what that's what they need. I think they need someone that A, has authority, and B, has the know-how of how to win. And someone needs to actually teach this club how to win. Because I feel like from the top down, no one knows how to win. I don't think for Daniel Levy, as much as we can criticize and all that stuff, he sacked Pochettino, which was a very unpopular decision, but he sacked Pochettino for people that he believed were winners, i.e. a Mourinho, i.e. an Antonio Conte. So I feel like there's somehow, some way, those guys are their mindset is we want to win desperately, but they don't know how to. So it's like you need to get appropriate people, footballing people that knows how to do that, and actually allow them to do their job. As much as Antonio Conte said what he said, I didn't quite like how they handled it, because what they could have said is, so listen, put you in the private room. Okay, we heard you're out. Now let's talk. Let's really talk. And listen, we believe in you or we don't believe in you, and et cetera, et cetera. But I would have liked if they said, we believe in you. You teach us the way. You teach us how to win. And if you want to replace a player, we'll replace it. We'll bring up a player you want, and let's move forward. So,
but yes, it comes from the top. It comes from the top. Yeah. If the owner, the guy calling the shots, isn't going to put people and pieces in place to be like, what do you need, Mr. Manager? What do you need? What players do you need? Then it's not going to happen. I keep saying this. I'll say this again. Levy's passion is the business side. His passion isn't the football winning side. And that is the issue that's here. I mean, Elias, what are you going to say about, do you think that, how do you change the culture of Tottenham so they can be winners? Can it be freaking changed?
What I would say is the fans, because at big clubs, like the fans, they put pressure on the owners. For example, the Chelsea fans put pressure on Todd Bowley to perform. Like, hey, Potter isn't doing a sufficient job. Like, this is not good enough at this club. Barcelona, Bartomeu. At big clubs, the fans, they demand a certain standard. And if at Tottenham, the fans are perfectly fine with saying, like, hey, you know what? I'm perfectly fine with top 3, top 4. I'm fine with maybe like, hey, a semi-final appearance here and there, a final appearance in the UCL. Then Levy isn't going to be like saying, hey, you know what? I really need to change. So unless the fans say like, or like as a collective,
no, Elias.
No pressure. It's
no. Seriously, Elias, you've hit the nail on the head. Tottenham fans, I think, most Tottenham fans are like, this is just my club. It is win, lose or draw. Let's go through. They don't demand anything. You see, that's why people said Potter, the perfect club for Potter was Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Chelsea fans, because of what Bram built, they now have standards and they're not going to demand things. Colour sports or so forth, we now have demands. Tottenham, how can you have demands when, what have you done? For Chelsea fans, we have demands based on what we've done recently. So my thing though is, Elias, you're right. A lot of Tottenham fans, especially the ones that I've spoken to, they're not putting pressure on anyone. So my thing is, okay, just hire Pochettino back and just vibe. I mean, Ricardo, what's your take on this whole Tottenham thing? I mean, is it down to the fans where they don't demand anything?
Personally, I think Tottenham have a very unique
opportunity right now where they have a star player where he probably has some level of influence at the club, right? It kind of I mean, I'm not saying Harry Kane is Messi and Levy is Bartomeu, but when you have the fans should be speaking out. You have Harry Kane. If he can, I think if Harry Kane was to say something about the management of Tottenham, I think a lot of people would stand behind them because he has been loyal to them and believes that by some miracle they can actually win something. I think they can get behind that. I do agree with what you said that it needs to be stripped down from top to bottom. But I think one of the biggest things too is that Tottenham have to be okay with losing by not being such a profitable business at the same time. I think right now when you see clubs such as Tottenham or within that level that are big but they're not winning, sometimes being afloat making profit is good enough for them. Because at the end of the day, these are business owners. This is a business. Oh yes, you got another scam call. But some of these teams, these are clubs, these organizations, these business owners, they're just looking at these clubs to make a profit from. They don't really care what they're winning. And I think if a club is serious, they're willing to spend the money. They're just willing to take on these risks. They put the pressure on themselves. They set standards. Tottenham isn't that club. It takes a whole lot. It's not just fans. It's not just from top to bottom. It's actually willing to lose and not make the profits you're probably accustomed to making because you know deep down inside you're probably not going to win. Like Tottenham's a club that you know they're probably going to go a few seasons without winning anything. So they realize, well, like the fans are still going to support us. We're not going to win anything, but we're making good profit for what the club. There's stability here financially at least, but there's no prestige. There's no that badge. Does it? What does it signify other than just being a third tier club in London, third best club? Where if they're that, because there's other clubs that exist. I think it's a long way. I don't know if he'll ever get to see it. I haven't seen it so far in my lifetime. And to be honest, I don't know when they ever will.
Rational Cat. Yo, HH, why has Pepper never been fired? Because he's never been in a situation where he's had to be fired. Like, look at all the success he had at Barca. Grant said he never reached the UCL final for Bayern, but they were very good in the Bundesliga and they always won the Bundesliga, which I like. The Arabs always want. Look at what he's done in the domestic game. So I think Pep is arguably might be one of the greatest domestic managers of all time. When you just look at what he's done in 3 different countries and how he's dominated in 3 different countries. Like I know Fergie has all these titles with United, but in terms of how dominant you've been in 3 different leagues, Pep must arguably be one of the greatest league managers out there. And the amount of points he's accumulated and the amount of records he's broken is freaking insane. So there's never been any reason to sack a freaking Pep Guardiola, man. Shout out to Adams, man. Thank you for the Dubinsky, Adams, but thank you for Dubinsky. Believe me, I want to blame Conte, but Spurs are always a common denominator in these situations, and they have a track record of failing. So I can put it on Conte. He's a winner. Spurs' only trophy is expressions oozing. Look, see, Tottenham, I just think, look, man, they are perennial. Because basically, I was just trying to push back for yes, just for argument's sake. But when Conte did that rant, I was like, Conte's right. Don't hate the messenger. Look at the message. I know Conte is this, is that, severance package, but what he's saying is facts. There is something fundamentally wrong with the club because if you want to win, you have to have winners and you have to know how to deal with pressure. These are players who don't know how to deal with pressure and have been pampered for most of their time because the culture of Tottenham is vibes. Win, lose, or draw, they're always going to come. Win, lose, or draw, they're always going to pay. Win, lose, or draw, we're always going to have full capacity because the fans don't demand anything from you. So if the fans don't demand anything from you, you're always going to be pampered and you'll never have pressure. And if you don't have pressure, you cannot win. You can only win when you have pressure.
What was that team they lost to? I think it was under Mourinho when the manager was in prison. He was in a jail. What's that? Does anyone remember that?
It was a Wi-Fi password. It was a Wi-Fi password. I think it was.
Was it Wi-Fi? Was it done? I thought it was done.
There was a forward slash. It was a forward slash. There was
where like literally they.
Yes, the manager was having a collect call from prison. Yes.
Oh
yes,
wow! Like, how do you lose a game like that? I don't get it. Like
it's Tottenham. It's Tottenham. Rational Cat. HH, can you name the City players who you consider to be number one or two in the league in their positions. You can Rodri is probably number one or two. It's between him and Casemiro. Haaland is numbers number one striker. In terms of just striking and scoring goals, Haaland is number one. As much as I don't rate him, De Bruyne might be one or two. I might say Odegaard might be ahead of him, but De Bruyne is a weird one because he's like several positions. And I think that's about it. Edison is trash, so I don't rate him. Walker might be one or two in terms of a right back. I don't know many right backs in the EPL better than Walker, but the ones for sure are Rodri and Haaland. For sure.
What about Riyad Mahrez at his best?
Saka is better.
Mahrez?
Is he? Yeah, of course he is. Like right now, Saka is better.
That's true. Right now he is.
Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, I'm putting Mahrez over Salah. So, yeah. Shout out to your boy Elijah. No domestic cup since 2008. No European trophy since 1984. No league championship since 1961. Guys, this is disgusting.
I think no European trophy since 1984. So does that mean when did Aston Villa won the championship?
I think wasn't it from the 80s or the 70s?
First of all, you're not going to disrespect the Audi Cup, okay?
Yes, we had disrespected freaking Audi Cup, bro. I don't want to.
I said this. I think I was thinking about this. I said this in maybe in a tweet or something like that. I said Tottenham for me. I've always compared Tottenham to West Ham United and Everton. I've never compared them to Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. Like it doesn't.
No. But you know what? Let's be real, because I was going to use the stadium as an example, but West Ham Stadium is comparable to Tottenham. See, because remember, West Ham Stadium is the Olympic stadium that was used for the Olympics, so they then gave them the stadium. Now, Tottenham Stadium is the first modern football stadium in the world, hence where the NFL and people use them. So their facilities are beyond any other stadium in the world. But in terms of what the stadium looks like, its capacity, how different is that from West Ham? And when we look at West Ham's achievements and Tottenham's achievements, is Tottenham a bigger club than West Ham? I'm not sure they are. So Nigel Cardoso, Spurs won the We Beat Manchester City trophy. Yeah, I told you. Perennial losers. Losers.
You know what's so sad, right? Eden Hazard had one of the worst seasons of his career. The year Leicester won the trophy, and he completely destroyed Tottenham in that second half when Tottenham was supposed to win. But
because his name is Zad. Call him Zad. Call him Zard. Call him Zard. Call him Zard.
No, you're trying to win the title, right? You're trying to win the title. You're competing for the title. How you allow not even the best version of Zard, one of the worst versions? Like he had an off season on his off day. In his off season, he still beat you. Oh, it was bad.
Because it's called Zard. All right. So let's hit this. Okay, it's going to be real quick, and I want to just see people's thoughts here. So, Elias,
what's up?
10 games to go. Let me even bring it up. To go because you boys have already won the La Liga, so that's already done and dusted, man. 12 points is 12 points. They ain't coming back. If you had to choose Arsenal or City, what do you say?
Do Arsenal play Man City in these remaining games?
Yes. So let me show you Arsenal games. So Arsenal have Leeds, Liverpool away, West Ham away, Southampton, then City away on the 26th, then Chelsea, then it's a tough block: Newcastle, Brighton, and then.
Okay, I'm saying if Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield, I think Arsenal basically win the league. Because when you look at the fixture list,
so you're not even going to wait for the City game.
If I was going to say if
because
Arsenal,
also keep in mind though that City play Liverpool on Saturday.
They do. Well, is Manchester City playing at home or away?
I think it's at Anfield. Hold up.
Because I have a feeling that Arsenal have to win either at the Etihad or at Anfield.
City are the Etihad.
Okay. See, I think in order for Arsenal to win the league, I think they have to beat Manchester City or Liverpool. I think one of the two. Otherwise, I have Manchester City winning, and also I have that. I think it's going to be much more difficult for Manchester City to come back when they are playing Bayern. I think that tie, Manchester City could have more focus on that. Just like saying, hey,
Yeah. Oh, no, no,
don't.
no, no. But here's the thing, though. See, this way it gets interesting because for Pep, there are two crazy narratives here. Now, Champions, we all know because we all know the customary annual left stream. So he knows that he's got pressure to win a UCL. But Elias, you can't have the guy who was fetching your water bottle, fetching your cone, and helping you to take a piss every single time win the league ahead of you. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Like, come on. Like, every time that Pep had to take a piss, yo, Mikel, get here and help me out. It is what it is. So,
yeah. Well, once again, I have Arsenal as huge favorites. At 8 points, with 10 games remaining, I think it's really tough. It's really tough for even Manchester City. For Manchester City, in order to beat Arsenal, they're gonna have to, for example, they're gonna have to hope that Arsenal drop points against Liverpool, and for them to beat Arsenal. Because we have to keep in mind that Manchester City do have a game in hand. So if they win that game in hand, it's 5 points. It's not 8. And for example, if they capitalize on Arsenal dropping points and they beat Arsenal, I think.
You see, my thing was that this is a pretty tough block for Arsenal. It's this City, Chelsea, Newcastle because City away, London derby against Chelsea, and Newcastle away. See, the thing about the Chelsea game is tricky. Chelsea not going to be playing for anything domestically. Chelsea may already be out of the UCL by then, but just like when they stopped Tottenham, because it's a London derby, Chelsea like, oh, if we can mess things up for Arsenal, we will.
Exactly.
Newcastle away, that's it. That's it. Always. Remember, Newcastle, they're going for top 4. So
exactly.
It's tough. So,
this block is,
yes,
very
good
difficult.
point. Brighton as well.
Exactly. This period for Arsenal is not looking good. Okay, can we look at Manchester City's schedule?
Yeah. Let me bring in City. So, I mean, City is not too bad. So obviously now that game is postponed, but that could be big. So Fulham away.
The big advantage is that Manchester City have a lot of home games. As you can see right here,
City's running is actually pretty good.
It's not though. They have people that are trying to fight for relegation. Everton and
yes. What would you rather face? A jumble of a Brighton, Newcastle, who are both chasing a top 4, and of course a City who are title rivals, or really, of course, have something to fight for. But your freaking Man City, as much as they're fighting relegation, you're fighting for the freaking title, and your Man City. So I think City would rather have this than have the bunch that Arsenal have, which is Brighton, Newcastle, and so forth.
Do not underestimate survival of, like, come on, survival of the Premier League is. They have to win.
Yeah, so you're just scared because City's going to do the three-peat and make Fergie relic.
I think. Okay, I don't care. I generally.
Yes, of course. Of course you care.
No, I did. At this point,
no. If he does 3 in a row, all Fergie has is longevity tax.
But okay, I have 2 different narratives. One narrative I have is if Arsenal don't win the league, we clown Arsenal. AFTV is gonna be the best thing ever. Finally,
I'm gonna be tuning in and watching like every episode, like every reaction.
I'm gonna watch exactly. Like to clowning Arsenal was a joy that has been taken away from all of us. Like the football needs that back. Arsenal.
I haven't actually watched AFTV in a while, man. I actually do miss that AFTV.
So that's one aspect.
And those games against Bayern, they hit different. Just like it was amazing.
Those are the days, man.
But another thing is because of the hate I have for Liverpool. If Arteta beat this Manchester City team after Erling Haaland scoring 42 goals, all comps, like it's going crazy. And if they end up winning it, if Arsenal end up winning it, Liverpool fans are finished. Klopp
see for me. Look, that's why this Saturday is going to be very key because if Liverpool beats City, I think that's already a seismic shift. City have to beat Liverpool, and I think that Liverpool still see City as like sort of their because they already know, look, we're already out of it. But if we can stop City, I think Liverpool would rather Arsenal win it than City personally. So they'll be like, no, if we can stop City from saying what's up, I think that's what they'll try and do.
No, okay. Two things. The first thing is I'm gonna say is Manchester City. This is my belief. 10 games left. Is it 11 for them because they have a game in hand?
Yeah. It's 11 for them, I believe. Yeah.
I believe if City, in order for City to win the league, 1,000%, there's no ifs, buts, and then they have to win out. They literally had to have like the form they had a year ago and the year before, where they literally did not lose a single game. They literally have to win out. They cannot. I don't think they can drop a single point because 8 points is a big gap. Not only do you have to close that 8 point gap, but you also have to keep that momentum up. So you have to win all your games. And the second thing about the whole thing is Liverpool fans has been telling us years we have great because we finished second to a great Manchester City side. That this Manchester City is unbeatable. That's what they have told us. They have convinced all of us that there's
but people can always respond by saying that this City team have clearly not been playing at a level of those previous years. That they have actually dropped in performance.
But
so
you can say that
you're not facing the 100 points or the 98 points version of Man City.
You can say that, but then we're also facing Erling Haaland. Erling has scored 42 goals.
True.
They didn't have Erling Haaland. They didn't have Erling Haaland. So you know what I mean. And especially it really depends on how Arsenal finished. Arsenal finished up in the 90 plus points. It changed. Liverpool are finished. Like they had nothing to say. So that just solidified the fact that you guys were serial losers. You guys were extreme losers, and you couldn't beat Man City.
Okay. So Ricardo, what do you say? Arsenal or City? What are you feeling? I think you've been with Arsenal. That's Arsenal are going to do it.
Yeah, just because Man City have been consistent. I think that window where Man City should have capitalized kind of passed them a little bit. I mean, they have maybe a little bit of hope, but it was that period where Arsenal, I think they lost or they tied, and then they lost.
I think it was the Nottingham Forest. I think it was the Nottingham Forest game.
No, I think it was Everton. It was the Everton game that they lost, and it was on the bounce. And then I think they tied against maybe Nottingham or they tied against Newcastle. I can't remember, but there was a period in which, yeah, it was the games right after Man City had beaten Arsenal at the Emirates. Arsenal went on to drop more points, but Man City also dropped points. And
Nottingham Forest. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for Man City, but I'm saying for Arsenal, I think they lost to Everton. I thought that was a window where they could close it, gain momentum, and yeah, I mean, look, they could still lose it. That's without a doubt. They could still lose it, assuming City wins their next game. But damn, like I said, it might just all come down to that tie where they face off each other. Obviously, the Liverpool win matters and the London Derby matters because, I mean, guys, what Yasir said is true that teams in the bottom are definitely very, very dangerous because they're probably the bravest or it's do or die for them. So they're going to go for it.
Survival.
But at the same time, I think mid-table clubs like Chelsea FC, when they,
I want to know when these trades are going to stop happening. I want to know when these trades are going to stop happening, man.
But I think I've always believed the team that has the most dangerous team is a team that has absolutely nothing to play for because there's no nerves, there's no pressure. Bottom teams sometimes they're so nervous going forward that they concede and then that's it for them. They give up on the spot, but. Chelsea, mid-table side.
No one's worried about Chelsea. Come on, Ricardo.
No, but I'm saying they got nothing to play for. They're gonna get bounced.
No. I mean, like, as much as it's a slight shot and so forth and everything, and for saying it, like that is going to be a tricky because Chelsea. When Chelsea stopped. Beat Tottenham, so for Leicester City to win the league, Chelsea had nothing to play.
Yeah, and not only that, but Chelsea like. Bro, they were 10th in January. They spend $500 million and they're still 10th. Like this team clearly has nothing to prove. So, look, I think there's important fixtures for Arsenal coming up. If they can get through these teams, I mean, obviously depends what Man City do. Then we're looking at the title. Every fixture favors Arsenal because that's one less game that they have to worry about, and that's one less game that Man City have to hope that Arsenal slip up.
So let's just go around. So I'm still saying City to win the league. Yes, who are you saying? I say City just about do it. It probably goes to the last day. City win the league.
Arsenal.
Elias, what do you say?
I have 60-40 Arsenal winning the league.
Ooh. Ricardo?
I I got Arsenal 70-30.
Oh my lord! All right, we shall see. Okay, last thing on the water here. Last up on out here.
I don't know how Juju works, but hopefully I made it work.
Wait, it's not Juju, it's Juju.
Juju.
Oh wait, not bad.
I told you, I got some Nigerian in me, man.
Okay, there you go.
Wait, so
Juju.
AJ, what's happening? Wait, what day is it? Hold on. Let me get this right.
Oh god.
By the way, Peru tied Morocco, so we're officially better than Brazil.
Oh wow.
Okay, so HH, what's happened
Shut up, Peru.
on April the 12th? What's happened on that day?
Oh god, is that Real Madrid?
Yes. What's happened on that day?
What's happened on that day is prayer, football gods, divine intervention, and I just hope that, bro. Wait, what's the most powerful spell in Harry Potter? Like Sucos Palicos or whatever it's called can come through. But okay, guys, let me go with this. So, Saka, Ricardo, is Saka? Two questions: is Saka world class now? Is Saka going to be one of the best players in the world in the future? What are we saying about my man Bukayo Saka? Because his stock is rising.
All right, let's have some conversation about Bukayo Saka.
Oh,
okay,
God.
So Saka, is he world class? No. Is he
Why?
going to be? Wait, hold on.
Okay, all right, okay.
Hold on. Can I land? Bukayo Saka. He isn't world class because to me, the definition of world class is somebody who has been the best in their position for an extended period of time. Okay, and this is where Arsenal fans need to calm the hell down, because all I've been hearing over the last year is that they have top one player in every single position in world football because they can't relax that they might win. Okay, he can be world class. I see it. I see that he can be world class. Will he be world class in 2 to 3 years? Yeah, if he keeps this level up and he improves, because the standards, the expectations are only going to get bigger every single time. And if he can meet up to those expectations, he can definitely be world class. But he isn't world class right now.
Let me quickly push back on that whole thing, and let me just remember. So you say you have to be world class. You've got to be one of the best players in your position for the period of time. So Saka. So what do we say? So Saka, you would say, is an inside forward. We say that? We call him wide forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even pin players these days, but yeah, inside forward, right winger,
So my thing though is, who are the players who have been better than him in his position for like the last year or so?
Well, are you talking specifically like just the right wing? Because I honestly, when I talk about wingers, I like to put them in the same category, because typically your left winger is somebody who's right-footed and your right winger is somebody who's left-footed. So
for me, I feel he falls under the guise of Mahrez, Salah, Vini. Valverde. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Dembele.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the comparisons with, like, you know, those types of wingers like Vinicius, Dembele, the number 77 of Napoli. Can never pronounce the name.
Kvaratskhelia. Shout out to Osimhen. Kvaratskhelia.
KK. We'll call him KK. He's missing 1K. He's missing 1K. He's missing 1K.
Relax, Ricardo.
He's missing 1K.
Ricardo, relax.
KK. Just K. I didn't say that. I didn't say 3.
No. Kvaratskhelia.
All right. Oh, Maradona. There we go. Okay. The Georgian Maradona. He's up there. I mean, he has been better than a lot of them this season. He's been better than Dembele. I think the conversation with him and like Vinicius and what's his name again? KK? No, 77. I think there's genuinely there. I like I said, there's Prem tax, there's English tax. He's a good player. He's definitely one of the best right wingers in the world. You could argue he is the best out-and-out right wing in the world. Who else really plays on the who really plays in the right wing that is top? Like Salah, but Salah isn't having his best season. I think Salah's actually having an underrated season, but I don't think it's his best season.
No, he's not been. No, but see, Ricardo, my whole thing with Saka is, of course, his potential is there. Of course, he's been outstanding. But for me, I feel that, can you do it in the Champions League? Doing it in the Premier League is cool. But that's why with Saka, it's tricky. I want to now see Arsenal in the Champions League, but Saka was pretty good in the World Cup. And this is what I keep on saying. Why was he subbed off against France? He was playing well. I don't know what Southgate was cooking. If Saka had stayed on that pitch, maybe it's a different game. Yeah, Kane missed that penalty.
He was cooking beans on toast. Classic English. But no,
Ricardo, Charles is going to be pissed off, man.
I mean, who else is a right winger? I mean, his competition on the right wing really isn't that.
It's because there aren't that many. Exactly, there aren't that many good right wingers.
Yeah, and typically your right wingers are left-footed players. We know that left-footed players are a scarcity in football, anyways. So I mean, like Messi's not even a right winger. The guy's more of an attacking midfielder, anyways. Who's a Salah? I mean, it's really his only.
He's not really had a great season. Yeah, because remember, so we have Salah. Can you say Rodrigo? Can you say
because Rodrigo's best games have literally come from the left side. So
or like down the center. I would say maybe Dembele, Gnabry.
My thing is that I think we should compare Saka with whoever plays as a flanked wide attacker. So Vini, Rodrigo, Kivicha.
I'm still taking Vinicius and what's it called? KK.
Kivicha.
Sure, whatever. Him.
Elias, what do you think about Saka, man?
I say Saka. He's like the tier right under world class. Because world class, this is like a special tier of like.
Yes.
This is a very special player. I think there are very few world class players in football right now. I think not only do you have to be like top 3, maybe even top 2 in your position to be world class, you need to have that special quality, and on top of that, perform at an extended period of time in the highest stages. It's like a multitude of requirements in order to become world class. I think Salah is a fantastic player. I mean, Saka is a fantastic player. He's having a fantastic season, and he could become world class. It's a real possibility. Just we need to see more, and for example, I would say we even need to see more productivity from Saka to be put on that world class stage. Because on that world class, you're competing with, for example, Mbappe. You're competing with Haaland. Maybe not in the position.
Yeah, on Mbappe, you could have put Mbappe in there as well.
Exactly. Yeah. You're competing with Mbappe, with Vini, with all these players who, like, yes, like they perform and they play really well, but their productivity is also insane. That's also something that they have to keep in mind.
Yes. What do you say, man? Saka, is he world class now, or we need to chill?
I'm gonna be real. I'm very, very biased when it comes to this. I am. I make sure.
Okay.
There are 6 players that for me, they're world class. They're generational talents. Yada yada. That's Gavi. That's Araujo. Marcus Ballon-d'Or Rashford. And Bukayo Saka is in there.
So yeah, Saka is generational.
I think Saka is arguably one of the English greatest talent that they ever produced, in my opinion. Like
ever produced.
I don't think it's very difficult for me to. I don't know. Maybe you know better than me, but I don't know.
I mean, like England had Gascoigne, they had Joe Cole, they had Rio Ferdinand,
Scholes. This kid.
You know, we literally said this about Phil Foden when he was balling because he played like a Brazilian.
I don't rate Phil
Foden. Yes, the reason why you can't do this is let us see him have an amazing international tournament. Let us see him in the Champions League on multiple occasions. Look at what Vini just did in the UCL last season, what he's doing this season. Look at what Mbappe did for Monaco and what Mbappe has done at a World Cup. So my thing is that to say this, you have to look at his contemporaries. Look at what Mbappe and Vini have done at international tournaments and at Champions Leagues. Saka doesn't have that with him. Now, you can say that he has the talent and the potential, but he hasn't said what Mbappe and Vini have said.
That's why I did a disclaimer. I said there's 6 players for me that these guys are my guys. I don't care. And you can say whatever you want. I'm not hearing it. Because here's the thing.
What do you mean you're not hearing? So if someone has football logic, you just say no.
No, here's the thing that's underrated about Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka plays for Arsenal Football Club. In my opinion, Arsenal Football Club is top 3 biggest club in England. In terms of pressure, in terms of fan base, in terms of everything, playing for Arsenal is not easy. And even Bukayo Saka was the best player for Arsenal when Arsenal was going through it. He was carrying Arsenal.
No. What Saka is doing, it's his quality. Crazy. Look, see, you have to put things in context here. Saka is amazing. And the fact that we're even having this conversation and we're even putting him in we're even having a conversation with Vini and Mbappe shows just what Saka is doing is freaking amazing. So his talent and his potential and his ceiling is freaking incredible. But we also have to be fair as to where is he now compared to his contemporaries.
Right now, in terms of contemporaries, easily top 10 players in the world. He has an argument to be top 5 player in the world right now. Bukayo Saka, he is. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. As in terms of a winger, Kvaratskhelia, you can say yes.
Okay, yes. Let me push back. Can you be, and maybe Elias and Ricardo can comment, can you be a top 5 player in the world without performing in the highest level competition, which is the Champions League?
But I listen. Okay, I get that point. I get that point. But for me, that's an inevitability. That is going to happen. He's going to perform in the Champions League. He's going to perform in the World Cup, etc. That for me is not even a question. Is going to happen. But when that happens, you guys can be raving about him all you want. But then the guy is unbelievable. So for me, I look at in terms of the Premier League, he's the best winger in the Premier League. And in terms of in the world, there's an argument between who's better between him, Vini, or Kvaratskhelia in terms of wingers. Especially
wait, arguments.
There's an argument. I believe there's an argument.
No.
I think there's an argument because
Yes. So you see. Here's my thing. See, yes, you have to just chill here. Saka 1,000%. You could say he's the best winger in the Premier League. Standard. Like you can't even argue what he's been doing for Arsenal every single week. 100%. He is not only the best winger in the Premier League, he is one of the best and most consistent performers in the Premier League, hands down. Hands down, 100%. But yes, what he cannot now do is take a guy who not only is he performing in the Serie, he's performing in the freaking Champions League. So my thing is that because the Champions League, that is a whole different level. Now, yes, let us see next season because Arsenal are definitely going to be the UCL next season. But you cannot now say there's an argument of a guy who's only been performing domestically, whereas a guy is performing domestically and in the highest level competition, which is the UCL.
Oh, okay. I know you're right. And I said that's why I said an argument. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it. If you said you're right, everything you say is right. Yeah, but for me, when I watch the players and I use my eye test, yes, I'm gonna say eye test. HH, when you watch Saka play, Saka can beat you out wide. He can play as a wide.
Have you seen Kivicha play?
No. Hold on. HH, he can beat you out wide. He can cut inside. He could be an inside forward. HH, you also have to remember where this kid come from. This kid was originally playing as a wingback. HH. The kid was originally playing as a wingback. He became a winger. I can say, you can say he could play on the left. I can say Saka can play both sides too. I get Martinelli plays on the left, but if you want to, say you wanted to buy another winger, he can play on the left and he'll be.
No. Look, Saka's look for me. Look. See, I said, look, he is that good, and I wanted to see him develop and so forth. I mean, but look, okay. Last thing here. So, Ricardo, what do you think is Saka's ceiling? What is Saka's ceiling?
Okay, his ceiling. He's 21, right? 21, 22?
21.
21. Okay, I don't think he.
21.
Look, I have.
So what are we saying? Ballon d'Or winner, consistent, top 3 in the world.
Look, the reason why he looks
tier 2.
The reason why he looks amazing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the reason why he looks amazing is because we have no standard for him. We have no standard for him. So anything this guy does is gonna look absolutely incredible. It's like, for example, when Phil Foden came on the scene, right? We're talking about English talents right now. When Phil Foden came on the scene, we saw a very unique English player. I've never seen an English player with that level of technique.
Yeah.
Right? The guy looked
or dribbling ability, anything. It doesn't happen.
Exactly. He looked different. He wasn't your prototypical, what's it called, English player.
No, do you remember Joe Cole?
I do remember Joe Cole, yes.
Joe Cole was not a typical English player. That guy is one of the best talents English have
exactly.
produced.
So, however, with Phil Foden, just because this is a more recent example, we all thought Phil Foden, he's the next great English talent. Come from Man City's academy, going to play under Pep Guardiola. He's going to develop into a world-class player. Season in, season out, the standards for Phil Foden started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you could see, with these standards, you kind of see where he is at. Is he raising his game to the standards we're putting on him? Every single year, we're just going to up those. It's the same thing with Vinicius. When Vinicius first started Real Madrid, there was talent there. We saw moments of it. But there was inconsistency. There was times where he wasn't put in the right system, but nobody saw that season Vinicius was having last year. Nobody saw that, and it was a damn good season. So what does he have to do? He has to replicate that same season, not in terms of trophy, but in terms of performance, and then replicate the numbers, or if not, succeed. If you do anything lower than that, then you could argue, oh, that was just a one-off season from Vinicius. But no, Vinicius, again, he's having another great season. So we know that Vinicius is rising up to the occasion. He's showing levels. He's improving as a player. He's living up to the expectations. Again, this is only the first season. This is the breakout season for what's it called, for Saka. Well, next year with the Champions League, is the pressure of playing the Premier League, defending that title while playing in the Champions League. Defending the Premier League title, assuming they win, playing the Champions League. Is he going to succumb to the pressure, or is he going to rise above the occasion and be better, put up better numbers, show the reason, double down on that? Yeah, I was the best right wing in the world last season. I was better than Mohamed Salah in the Premier League and arguably the best right winger in the world. I'm going to double down and show it again based on what I've done the previous season. That's what I'm saying. Anything Saka does right now, like, it's just going to be amazing. It's just going to be amazing. And that's it. That's like we're glorifying everything this guy does because we did not expect that from him. The same way we glorified Vinicius last year because we did not expect that from him. So it's going to be one of those things. And we're going to see how much he improves. If he improves exponentially, he's a world-class player in his position. I personally think that he isn't world-class right now. He can be. Will he be definitively the best right winger? We'll have to see. And personally, for me, I don't like throwing the word world-class. Like, to me, world-class is a status that, like, kind of, you once you earn it, you'll always be seen as that. So, for example, like, let's say, okay, let's from the top of my head, Luis Suarez. He's not world-class anymore, but you know he was a world-class player. It's almost like a membership. Once you get it, you'll be remembered as that.
Yeah,
Saka, he isn't a world-class player. If you watch football today, like it's this season, first time ever watching it, you're probably thinking, oh, this Saka guy might be a world-class player. But we've seen what he was before. Now, you could say, yes, you said to credit to the system that has made him better, and Arsenal weren't like this seasons prior, despite being, as a wing-back or whatnot. But But this is the first season, and it's coming with a Premier League title, so those expectations are going to be a lot bigger.
Do you mean like Rashford, like how Rashford's a world class player, like Saka won't get it?
I mean,
market. Ricardo, ignore that trash that from.
I mean, look, let's be fair. Rashford is probably playing at a world class level. He's not a world class player, though. Let's be honest.
See, that's a proper distinction. He's playing at a world class, but you can't call him a world class player because the very definition of world class, you have to focus on the word world. When you focus on the word world, is you are performing at a high level against your peers globally.
Yeah, of course.
What Saka is doing is domestic. So you can't now put world upon him because what is he doing against the very best in the world? Hence why we have to now wait until he now has another really. Because his World Cup was cool, but was he one of the... Here's my thing. Who was better at that World Cup? Musiala or Saka? Germany went into the groups, but Musiala was far more impressive at that World Cup than Saka was.
England tax or Southgate tax.
Germany was horrendous. Not only that, but it depends who his competition is in his position and who's world class. Because one thing that's always bothered me, if I'm going to be brutally honest, we called Messi and Ronaldo world class. If those two are world class, I'm sorry, nobody else is world class.
No, but I think those guys are like S class. Those guys are
of course. But I'm saying if we're consistently calling them world class, if we're calling the Suarez and the Lewandowskis of that time world class, I'm sorry,
Ricardo. It's football Twitter. People, bro, they call this period water bottle world class. Everything is world class these days. Elias, what's the sitting for Saka?
Hold on. He was was gonna ask a great question.
Is Ronaldo a world class?
Cristiano Ronaldo
right now.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right now,
like he said, once you get the title, you got the title.
Oh no! What do you mean? Cristiano Ronaldo has always been world class. He's not playing at a world class level.
I just want to hear it. I just want to hear it.
Okay, good. Elias, stop now. Let me meet him.
No, I once again, I think Saka could be a world class player, but I think he's always going to be that under that tier, like right under world class, where he's going to be. Yeah, he's going to be an amazing player, like one of the best. but not in that category of world class because, as you mentioned, world class is a
Elias,
very specific.
No, but Elias, you say this stuff, but in 5 years, it could be very different. Remember, in 5 years' time, Ronaldo, Neymar, Messi, these guys will be fully gone. Right now, it's going to be Mbappe, Musiala, Pedri, and so forth. So in 5 years' time, don't you think there's a possibility where, okay, he's not amongst the very best, or you just don't see the seeds of somebody who couldn't really develop because he could develop so he could even take his game to an even greater level and be like, oh wow, he's not even pushed on, so that's next level of player in 3-4 years time.
This could be his maximum too. You don't know.
Because as well.
Exactly. Oh, and yes, sir, you have Saka as a generational talent, right?
That's crazy.
You have him like that. So for example, when you say a generational talent, you compare him, for example, to Mbappe. And for example, when Vinny Jr. came onto the scene, he's being compared to Neymar, to these players. And so when you compare this,
sorry, yes, come on. Are you really putting Saka's talent on the same level as Vinny and Mbappe? Saka's quality is good.
You know,
are you really
I'm not gonna lie to you. He's a better footballer than Mbappe. He's a better footballer than Mbappe.
To be honest, there's a lot of better footballers than Mbappe.
Yes. In terms of natural talent,
I mean, like for example, like every player is like better than Haaland, but Haaland's a world class player.
That's true.
Elias
got me there.
like Haaland, his technique is like garbage, but like, hey, there's you can count on your hand.
What he does is at a very high level. Yeah,
exactly.
There's not many players you would choose over Haaland.
Guys, side note, do we have to put Lautaro Martinez as the Argentina in the Brick Academy? One for Argentina.
Oh, yo, HH, I'm watching the Argentina game right now, and that miss from Lautaro. I'm sorry, bro.
That miss,
that's point blank, empty net. And like P-roll just misses it. That's
like at least Raheem Sterling shot it.
Yeah.
Okay, look, guys. Let's grab it. So, guys, look, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. So, shout out to Yasir, shout out to Elias, shout out to Ricardo. We'll probably see you on Thursday or Friday for City against Liverpool and Dortmund against Bayern. Dortmund against Bayern preview. So, yep. Saturday is Dortmund, Bayern, and City against Liverpool all on Saturday, man. So, guys, peace out, stay true, stay real. I remember Zad was the best player at the World Cup, but De Bruyne robbed him of the World Cup. Peace out.